Singapore, let's play! 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 Singapore, let's play!
Your mic is on.
Mic 1 test.
उसका mic आया.
Mic 1 test. One on top side by.
दूसरा जो ऊपर वाला है.
हाँ.
उसमें ground गंदा आता है. अच्छा चलो फिर हम ऐसे खड़े होंगे ऐसे. ठीक है. कमाल जी can sit here.
He is good.
लेकिन जब टॉस करना होगा आपने बताना है. ठीक है. Okay. Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the Mariners EPS 2019. It's time for the T20 competition game number 5. Today's game is going to be between SG Crimsons and SG Crescents. The Crimsons have won 2, the Crescents have won 1. So this is a key match. Both teams will be vying for victory. Let's have a look at the pitch on which the game will be played. There was a little bit of weather around, so there's a bit of moisture, and this wicket will aid the fast bowlers with the new ball. But as the game progresses, spin will come into action. But all in all, it looks like a very good surface for batting, and I wouldn't be surprised if the team winning first would elect to bat first. Join you shortly with the toss. Crimson's the home team, right? The person calling can be closer to me. Yeah.
Heads, tails, $1 tails. Okay, another one. So you toss.
Cross the side.
Tails. Tails is the call. Tails is.
What will it be, Manpreet?
Gonna bat first, obviously.
Okay, does this look like a good wicket? What are you expecting to put on?
I think probably 180 we'll be looking for on this wicket. It's a pretty good wicket on this track, so we'll be looking 180 on the wicket.
Any changes to your previous team?
Yeah, Ananta comes in and Irfan will be resting today.
Good luck for the game.
Thank you very much.
What would you have done?
Yes, to be honest, I'm not too sure what I would have done. I think I would have bowled eventually, so I'm not too disappointed. Yeah.
What are you looking to restrict them to?
Hopefully a similar score to the last time, but I think we'll back ourselves to taste about 135, 140.
What is your team composition? Any changes to your last game?
We have Navim Param back. He's replacing Suresh, who was in the last team, and yeah, that's the one change.
There you have it. The Crescents have won the toss and they are set to bat. We will see you shortly with live commentary.
Singapore, let's play. Singapore, let's
Right, I have here with me Subin Shroff, former Singapore international. Subin, good to have you in the com box.
Pleasure to be here.
What do you see on this wicket?
I was telling the curators and members of the organizing committee, I could see the sheen on the glass on the wicket from the boundary line, and I was feeling a bit jealous of the batsmen and what they're going to get. But I do think there will be some nice bounce and carry as well. I don't think it'll all be one-sided, and from everything we've heard in previous games, there is a bit of bounce and carry. So there's been some quick bowlers in this tournament so far who've impressed with their pace.
Yes, with the outfield being lightning quick, good value for shots. What do you think will be a good total here?
T20 is a funny game, Chamal. I don't know if any score is ever safe. I mean, if you see what happened with Australia and India recently, 125 turned out to be a very, very competitive score. But then again, I think anything less than about 160 is asking. I think the more you go north of 160, you start to get into the really safe zone.
What is your experience so far in this EPS, the international players coming in, the youngsters mixing up? How do you see this auguring well for Singapore cricket?
I think it is much needed. As chairman of selectors myself, it is something we really want our players to have. We've seen the standard of the league cricket in Singapore, which is not bad. It's given us a lot of good players, but you're only going to get better if you play a standard that's above you. What the EPS does is allow us to bring in players from outside, who then combine with our batsmen, our bowlers, and then they get to play a standard. They get to play competition which is better, and overall, I'm sure it has a very positive impact on their game as well.
So what is the next assignment for Singapore, and how have you seen? Have you identified any new players for some of the slots that you've had in mind? How has the EPS helped in that cause?
I think the EPS is part of that identification process. So what we've done is we've picked a pool of about 40 players, and then throw in about 10 or 12 players from outside, and have them play a decent amount of cricket. I think we are looking at, we wanted to ideally have 15 one-days and maybe about 20 T20 games. Hopefully we can get that. If we can't, anything we will take at the moment. This will be a very good opportunity for the players to display their wares and show or impress the selectors. And with the change in format in the ICC qualifications going forward, I think the positive part is it's not going to come down to one tournament. So you'll have to be consistent all year round. You can't get lucky in one tournament. And I think that's a very positive change by the ICC. They're helping with the qualification process as well. So net, I think things are all set in the right direction for Singapore cricket.
There you heard it from the chairman selectors himself. We will join you shortly with a live commentary.
let's play. Singapore, let's play.
Singapore national Zubin Sharaf. Zubin, welcome to the Combox.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
We are about to get underway. The Crescents have won the toss and they've elected to have a bat first. And the Crimsons, they prefer chasing, but Karabo Motlanka, the Botswana captain today, standing in for Janat Prakash, the regular skipper of the Crimsons, told me he wasn't quite sure what he would have done had he won the toss, so it was a good toss to lose.
As a former captain myself, I've never complained when I've lost the toss in situations when I'm not sure what I want to do. Yes, the toss is important, but the conditions are so good. I think they'll hold true for most of the game, and I'm hoping we see a high-scoring contest.
Absolutely. Tafara Chingwara there, marking up his run-up, the Zimbabwe international, and he'll be bowling to the Ugandan international Roger Makaza, the number 9. He's in good form, got a match-winning 50 for the Crescents the other day when they put on a big total 184, and I think he's being partnered by Aritra Dutta, plays his local cricket at Singapore Cricket Club. Very good attacking right-handed batsman, beautiful when he gets going.
And Aritra was one of the picks we made for the WCL, and we were very, very happy to see him come through and do really well for Singapore. That was, makes you feel good as someone picking a side, that you pick on someone and they do well. First ball.
Straight away, the Crescent's off the mark. There seems to be a little no ball as well. Maybe he was overstepping there. Tafara Chingwara seems to be not agreeing with the man that matters.
How many times have you seen a bowler agree with umpires and then question the umpire's call? But
he seems to be making a case with evidence, because that was the first delivery of the game, and the boot marks seems to be saying a story by themselves. But the man that matters, umpire Jadeja, has signalled a no ball and a free hit. Now this is crucial, because a batsman in a T20 looking to get off to a flyer has been given a bonus.
the first ball is usually the one where you're nervous the most, and it helps if it's going to be a freebie.
So with the batsman having changed sides, gives the captain a little chance to adjust the field. Let's see how Aritra responds. That's a magnificent hit down the track, makes full connection. It's a powerfully built youngster, deposits that over the long on boundary for 6.
Yes, it's almost like he read that. He kind of made room outside the leg stump, and I think Tafara followed him, but could not really, get it in the slot that he would have probably liked.
So that was a beautiful shot, free hit or not. That went a long way. That one had frequent fly miles on it.
Absolutely. I remember the times when we used to play at this ground, and it used to be very hard to fetch the ball back. Thankfully, they've made arrangements now where you don't lose the ball for too long.
It's a very good comeback. Tafara Chingwara, one of the most impressive players on show here, really bending his back on this IEA wicket. Seems to be extracting all the bounce it can give.
I wonder if this wicket will have a bit of a two-paced. I don't know. There's patches on the wicket which kind of appear to have some moisture in them, and that may sort of give it a two-paced. Another very good shot.
It's another magnificent pull shot. Aritra Dutta, a very attacking player. It's been not so much in a fluid form, but this game straight away into his game. Picked up that length very early and dismissed it with his presence. Beautiful to watch.
That's the shot of a man in form. A man who's really seeing the ball well. He's picking the line and the length early. He's moving and neatly dispatched over square leg for 6. Run.
This is very smart batting. Immediately looking to rotate after gathering the 6. And this has been a hallmark of both Roger Mukasa's and Aritra's batting. They look to rotate and always keep the scoreboard ticking. Subs, tell me, you must be having some wonderful memories of this ground. And now Indian Association under lights, it's looking a sight. It's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. A lot of memories, lot of good scores at this ground. Well bowled.
Once again scampering through, steals a single there.
He read the batsman coming down the track there and altered his length. Yeah, he needs to work on that. This over's already gone for 15 with still a ball to go. And Aritra back. Is it Aritra back on strike? Yes.
Aritra's back on strike, yes.
Well, the greatest level of this game. 2 sixes, great striking, and then this.
Yes, Tafa pumped up, dismissing Aritra Dutta. I think he got a bit too greedy, going for a 3rd in a row, having scored 16 off this over already. But that's the way this game goes, T20.
And there's always a case for discretion as a batsman. You know, as much as the nature of the game is to be attacking and keep the foot on the pedal, I think 15 runs in the over, single, rotate the strike, carry on. But then again, easier said than done.
Here's the shot selection as well. And Tafa seemed to have gone wide of the crease, really tucked him up for space.
Yes. Actually, he did go wide, and I think that's something that Aritra probably missed out. He went really wide of the crease, so the angle coming in just cramped him for the shot.
Kenneth Waiswa, the Ugandan international, bowling from the Balestier Road end. Yes, I think going back to our discussion on the wicket, I think there was a bit of weather around this afternoon. There seems to be a few spots of moisture there. I think it will definitely assist the new ball bowlers, provided they employ a slightly fuller length. Tafash seemed to be employing back of a length or short of a length. That's why he was getting dispatched around the park. But if you move it in closer and bowl it a bit fuller with this new ball, I think you will get some seam assistance.
One of the things as well in T20 is to try and tuck it into the batsman, give them very little room to swing their arms. Starting with a slower one.
Yes, going slightly down the leg side, Roger Mukasa flicks it off his pads. He's very strong off his legs, as most batsmen are these days. Manages 2 from that to deep square leg.
Manpreet Singh is another exciting prospect for us, a very talented cricketer who, I mean, just about anything he does, a lot of flair for the game.
That's a magnificent shot. Roger Mukasa really drilled it down to long on. The long on field only had a few paces to move, but he was never in the game.
No, he wasn't. And these are short boundaries, so you're going to get great value for your shots. You've got to get the field placings absolutely right, because a few yards to the left or right, and could be the difference between 1 or 4.
Yes,
But he
I-
did hit that down the ground pretty well. He picked the ball early. You could see he picked it and found the perfect placement.
Good comeback by Kenneth Weisler. Keeping it outside the off. Yes, as a chairman of selectors, you must be licking your lips when you see a young find like Manpreet Singh. He can bat, he can bowl, he can keep wickets. He's fit, and he really is quick between the wickets.
He
The
is.
full
He's an
package.
outstanding fielder as well. I mean, apart from the fact that he can keep wickets and he can bowl, he's just one of those cricketers who's very, very talented and gifted. It's got to be a wide, very wide.
It's wide and has also conceded a boundary, making it 5. The late swing tailing away from the wicket keeper.
That really swung late. It just did the keeper. Totally.
Thankless job wicket keeping.
Only after umpiring. They rank 1 and 2 on the list of thanklessness.
Absolutely. I think this has been such a wonderful platform for these youngsters to showcase their talents, and for the selectors yourselves to really assess them against quality opposition.
Well, the game is about recognition, and there's no recognition like the recognition of your peers. A lot of these players will be playing against each other in the WCL, players from Uganda, players from maybe not Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe are a level above, but it's important. Botswana, Uganda, players coming from all these different places, they get to play with each other, and it brings an element of professionalism into the game as well.
Manpreet Singh on strike. He's come to the centre at the fall of the first wicket of Aritra Dutra. He's now to face his first ball. Skippering the Crescents, a very good experience for him, captaining some very senior experienced cricketers, and he's been up to the job. Scampering through there for a quick single. Might have been in a bit of trouble had that been a direct hit.
And that shot is very typical of Manpreet, right? So he's just come in. The first thing he's going to do is get off the mark. He didn't try anything big. He gives me the impression of someone who thinks about the game. It would be very tempting to, go after a ball full bunger on the leg stump, but he's kind of gotten himself off the mark, and he'll probably give himself a little time before he starts to crank it up.
Kenneth Weisler changing his pace. At the end of 2 overs, Crescents 25 for the loss of 1 wicket. They'll be happy with that start.
You were asking me what I thought a good score was. The way this has started in 2 overs, I don't think 160 is safe. We'll still have to wait and see what the spinners do, though, when they come on to bowl. But there's very little, except for a bit of movement, which is due to the conditions more than the wicket. There's a bit of a breeze from right to left from where we are seated.
Tafara Chingwara continues from the Serangoon Road end. Once again, tucked away to deep fine leg by Manpreet Singh. Yes, that total will also very much depend on this partnership. These two are the big guns for the Crescents. How much deeper into the innings they bat.
True.
And if they have wickets in hand towards the end, like in the previous game, then they can look to aim at getting 180 on this wicket. I think it will remain consistent for the entire 40 overs. but it's about keeping wickets in hand as well.
It's interesting to see Tafara bowl. He's probably bowled a majority of his balls from wide of the crease, which is great if he's going to hit off and around off. But if he gets anywhere on the stumps, even the batsmen are going to pick him very, very easily. He's going to find it very difficult to get an LBW from there. In any case. Oh, well bowled. Beaten for pace.
Yes, Tafa seems to be sticking to the policy that he was successful with this strategy and he's going to go through with it after he got Aritra's wicket. And this is something that he was not using in the previous games, but this is something they might have discussed in a team meeting, a particular way to bowl to this particular Crescent's batting lineup. Seems to be working.
There you go. You see Manpreet holding Tafara back there. That's. Bowlers don't like to be made to wait. They want to turn around and just come in, steam in, and Manpreet doing the very typical smart thing, slowing the game down, trying to get Tafara off his rhythm if he can, but he's still followed up with a very good ball.
As these are experienced cricketers, they'll be looking for every little advantage that they can extract. It's a very good shot. Manpreet Singh almost uppercuts it over backward point for 4. Like all good batsmen, hits the gaps.
The ball was asking, it was wide, and again he's got to get, if he's got to bowl from that wide of off stump, that wide of the crease, he's really got to get it into that corridor. Otherwise, it just becomes easy picking.
The Crescents will be well pleased with this start. Despite losing a wicket, they're going at a canter.
Well bowled.
Very good comeback.
That's the one that held its line. It didn't keep going towards the batsman and beat him all ends up.
Crescents 35 for the loss of 1 wicket at the end of 3 overs at well over 11 runs.
This is a very good start. If they can keep this tempo, I mean, surely after the field restrictions change, they'll have an opportunity to have more fielders out on the boundary line. But if they can not lose another wicket in maybe this next 5 or 6 overs, they could really be laying the platform for a very, very big total.
And as we speak, the Crimson's captain, Karabo Matlanka, goes to his ace spinner, Vinod Bhaskaran, left arm orthodox, very accurate bowler. And in particular with the new ball, Zubs, he tends to bring it in with the arm, and that breeze that you were talking about earlier, it would aid him in drifting it in.
Yes.
This is now going to be interesting. Roger Mukasa batted brilliantly the previous match he played. Half century, 80 runs if I'm not mistaken. Single scampered through. He seems to almost be waiting for that ball to glide into him and flick it off his pads.
Yes.
Reading the bowling very well.
Vinod has a wind going from his right to left, and if he can angle the ball into the batsman and let the drift help him. He's not a big turner of the ball, and not that there's much in the wicket either, with that shine that we can see on the surface. Well bowled.
Manpreet Singh straight away using the dancing shoes, coming down to greet that delivery. He's outplayed quite a bit against Vinod Bhaskar, and it tends to sort of undercut the ball, so it skids on. He doesn't impart reps, looking to turn the ball big, as you said. So very wily bowler. This is good pressure being built up. That's his MO, dot balls.
Yes. Yes. Dot balls are gold in T20 cricket. Yes, you want to take wickets, but as a captain, you take a dot ball anytime.
And that's a magnificent shot. That was a good delivery. Nothing much wrong with it, but Manpreet Singh waited and expertly placed it between short mid-wicket and wide mid-on to the boundary for 4. Brilliant shot.
Those are one of the risks you take, bringing in a spinner when you still have the field restrictions. You beat the infield and then you go for maximum. Still a good over.
Very good loud and early calling by the non-striker Roger Mukaza. At the end of 4 overs, Crescents 40 for the loss of 1 wicket.
Very good over, only 5 from it. Pulls things back a bit, and if he can continue that for the rest of his spell, I think his captain's going to be very happy with him.
And also what he does with those dot balls is the batsmen tend to look for runs from the other end and lose their wickets. So he helps his partner, or his hunting partner gets wickets from the other end.
Sure. You bowl in pairs as you bat in pairs. The way the game is being analyzed and the way it's being assessed is changing so much. Individual scores and performances do matter, but they're not mattering as much as what people see you contribute towards a team's cause, not just in the end result, but also in the partnerships.
No, only one.
Partnerships, bowling or batting.
Rohan Rangaraj introduced into the attack from the Serangoon Road end. Now this is another youngster I'm sure you've got on your radar, and he's been really impressive in this competition especially.
Yes, his bowling is a bit of a bonus if we get it, but he's a very talented batsman.
Unlucky Rohan.
I tell you what, Rohan Rangaraj wouldn't be too disappointed with that shot, but that one was expertly swept away by Manpreet from middle and off.
I'm not sure I agree with the line of bowling around the wicket as an off spinner. Takes a lot of things out of the equation, especially on an easy track. Up in the air, caught. He's taken that.
It's a very good catch by young Prashin Param, running alongside the boundary, making it look easy. Rohan Rangaraj would be delighted with that. Manpreet Singh, not so, walks back to the pavilion. This partnership has been broken.
And this is where small grounds can be very deceptive. Batsmen very often can be led into this false sense of security that they may actually be able to cross, but you still have to hit a good shot to hit a 6. Got a leading edge. I think he played that for turn, and there wasn't any.
Spot on, Sobs. I think absolutely right. Rohan Ranga bowls a skidder. That's why he tends to go around the wicket most of the time, and very little turn, especially with this new ball, still quite new. And off this surface it skidded, and there wasn't much turn, and Manpreet ended up skying that ball.
If you read Shane Warne's book, he's not going to call any of them a spinner. You know, his first criteria for a spinner is you got to rip it, because you call a fast bowler because he can bowl fast, and a spinner's got to spin the ball. But I also think it's the limited overs nature of the game that's caused bowlers to sacrifice spin, guile, and just focus on line and length and trying to keep it tight. Not sure if it's helping much, but still.
Roger Mukasa smartly once again milks the single. Because I think Rohan Ranga will be very pleased he was mentioned in the same sentence as the great Shane Warne. But to come back to your point, I think yes, spot on. Sometimes as a spinner you got to go big, especially if you're a leg spinner.
Yeah.
That big leg break. Richie Beno used to talk about it, the stock ball.
You look at someone like Nathan Lyon or people like Graham Swan or Ravi Ashwin even. You know, they're off spinners, but they spin it, they turn it big. Especially Nathan Lyon. I mean, he's just incredible, the revs he puts on the ball. I'm forgetting the great Murli, of course, who could spin it on a glass surface.
Yeah, he was my favorite cricketer from Sri Lanka period. And he did a lot of work with Nathan Lyon when they were touring Sri Lanka. Once again, Arman Uchil trying to sweep. At the end of 5 overs, Crescents 46 for the loss of 2 wickets. Yes, going back to our discussion before, Murli did a lot of work with Nathan Lyon and the entire spin group of the Australians. And he stopped his consultancy work the day before the test series actually started, because the test series is named after him and Shane Warne. It's called the Muralidharan Warne Trophy, and it would have been funny had he been sitting in the Australian camp. Vinod Bhaskaran continues from the Balestier Road end.
Well bowled.
Doesn't give much away, Vinod Bhaskaran. Very thrifty bowler. Roger Mukasa now really holding the key to this innings. He'll be looking to bat deep.
Lucky. Nicely done by Ariman, getting in between the thrower and the wickets. Went off his body.
Ariman Uchil, once again a big unit, young man, firefighter. Takes a lot of runway to turn that A380. This is excellent running, particularly by Ariman. Put the pressure on the fielder, ran that first one very quickly and really stole that second run.
Yeah, the bowler is not too happy, I think, for the second run there. It's not that big a ground. You would have expected him to cover the ground faster and keep that to 1, but it wasn't to be.
Never met a happy spinner. Dharmichan Muleva, the old mate, gives me a smile while you're off spinner. And these wonderful pictures coming to you live by his team from Sportigo.
Probably hit him outside the off stump.
Oh dear.
Oh, he stumped.
That was a very smart bit of wicket keeping.
Roger. Wasn't paying attention.
He'll be very disappointed, and so will the Crescents.
And this is typically how a T20 game changes very, very quickly. You could be off to 35 in 3, and then all of a sudden.
I wonder whether he lifted his boot. So this will be an interesting replay.
I think he dragged his leg out as he lunged forward, and it was probably still out when he took the bails off.
Yes,
I don't think it went up.
The umpire was in the best position to judge that. And out comes Karthik Subramaniam. It looked pretty close, the LPW appeal as well. But sharp bit of wicket keeping, aware to the occasion, steals a wicket for his team. I think it's Anshul behind the wickets there.
Let's just say Roger gave him 2 chances on that ball with the LBW and stumping, and the bowler gets due result.
Yes, if you give any team 2 opportunities in one delivery, you deserve to be out. Karthik Subramaniam, good fighter, up for the challenge.
The Crescents need to be careful here. They're allowing the Crimsons to come back into the game really, really quickly, and another wicket or 2 here, and we'll be looking at them scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of trying to put up anything competitive.
And also the 30-yard fielders of the Crimsons, they are really squeezing in. Now at the end of 6 overs, Crescents 48 for the loss of 3, and that initial flurry of runs really helping them stay afloat with the run rate, because losing 2 quick wickets in the previous 2 overs within 3 runs has been detrimental towards their cause.
Which is also the thing we were discussing earlier about the impact spinners will have. And it's not just here. If you look at T20 everywhere, it's almost been a renaissance for spinners coming back into the game. I mean, especially the wrist spinners, the away spinners, and the impact they're having on the game. I mean, India's got as many as 3 in the side playing against Australia. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of the youngsters here in Singapore.
Oh dear, that was a very ambitious stroke. I think this is where really the situational awareness and character comes to the fore.
And skill.
Absolutely.
Shama. It's working the ball around to pick 1s and 2s and get 6 or 7 runs out of an over is a skill. I think too much emphasis is laid on being able to hit the ball for the big hits, but I still feel even in the T20 game there is a lot of value for batsmen working the ball around and keeping that scoreboard ticking.
And you can see Karthik Subramaniam straight away down to his partner. I think this is very good thinking. This is one thing I really like about this youngster. He's got a head on his shoulders. I saw him get 100 on the weekend. I mean, not against the best of bowling, but still, he was really aware. Straight away, Arimanuchil drills a single to mid-wicket. And he's aware of which bowlers to attack, which way the wind's blowing, where to loft, all these little things going into the processor. And he's able to play the match situation. So that's one thing I really like about Karthik Subramaniam. And I really like the fact that he went down there and had a chat to Ariman. Because Ariman's a type of player, he can score quickly. And if he can bat deep, that could make the difference.
And he can club the ball. He really can club the ball if he connects, but he's just got to give himself a little time.
Yes, the Crescents need a partnership.
Well bowled.
And his partner, when he got the 100 on the weekend, is bowling at him now, who also got 100.
Clearly, he's seen everywhere he was hitting the ball and he knows what field to set.
Both these two
I still struggle with this round the wicket line to understand. This is just, it becomes very predictable.
This is, I think, purely as a result of T20 cricket. Spinners looking to do various things to keep the batsman quiet. And the best way to keep a batsman quiet is to get him out, Subs. And I think if he goes over the wicket, he increases his chances of doing that.
He would, yes, absolutely.
At the end of 7 overs, the Crescents 50 for the loss of 3.
He bowls round the wicket. He kills the LBW almost by default. And a stumping is only likely of a wide ball really versus bowling over the wicket where he could actually beat him for turn or the lack of it. And yeah, but Rohan is not, we've got to remember Rohan is not a regular, he's not a front line off spinner, so he's doing for what he can bowl, he's doing a very, very good job.
Once
Shot.
again, Karthik Subramaniam beautifully hits the gap, beats the cover ring and also the wide long off, banks the boundary. This is a quality shot.
Interesting field setting there. He did not have a sweeper cover. And maybe he's going for the juggler here and trying to get the wickets that he wants to get and wrap this up earlier if he can. But
An inside edge nearly resulting in another wicket. Yes, and as we speak, sweeper cover has been moved back.
and that's the other thing I don't understand. You know, when a boundary goes and then the field follows, you know, kind of lacking conviction there, if you may. You almost get the feeling that they ought to be playing him like a very, very slow, gentle, medium pacer than a spinner, really, because he's really done. I don't think any ball's turned so far. If anything, they've sort of come in with the arm.
Once again, played away to deep long off.
Back up.
Clearly, the wickets have impacted. They seem to have gone into a bit of a shell.
Yes, they can afford to take a little bit of time because there's so much time still left in this innings. And these two need to build a partnership, picking up the ones and twos and the occasional boundary when it does present itself. And later on, both these batsmen can really look to turn it on because they can hit a long ball.
So it may still be 160, which was under threat after the first 3 overs, but they've really pulled things back, the Crimsons, by some very good spin bowling. They've tightened things up.
And the top three in the Crimsons, they have been in red hot form in this competition. Like his predecessors and all other wicket keepers, never die wandering. Anshul, excited appeal there. At the end of 8 overs, 55 for the loss of 3. Crescents.
Just wondering if it hits the back, it's out. It's out, right?
Young Pramesh Singhavi looks to be coming on from the Serangoon Road end. It reads right arm leg break, but he bowls a whole medley of leg spinners, leg cutters, off spinners, dobblers. He captains the Southeast Sharks, the under 17 Premier side, which I coach. Very exciting prospect, good young cricketer, good head on the shoulders.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing him bowl.
Ash! Unlucky.
Nice simple action.
Yes.
Always a plus as a
Absolutely.
leg spinner.
And most of the turn he seems to get in his run-up, the ball keeps quite straight, so it deceives the batsman.
He's almost running faster than the ball would arrive, wouldn't he? Nice action, nice loop. I'll wait for the ripper.
Stop, don't give him room, Pramesh.
You'll be waiting for a very long time, Soups.
Aisha, Pramesh.
Drill down to long off. Ariman Nuchil seems to have one gear, and that is to absolutely bash the leather off the ball.
Aish. Only one, no, keepers!
Good running. Put pressure, 2 runs. He's bowled a good line so far. He has not there's been nothing loose yet, which is always a good sign from a leg spinner. You still have 2 balls to go. I don't want to jinx him.
It's almost like facing Anil Kumble. I remember having this conversation with former great Sri Lankan batsman Aravinda De Silva, and I asked him, Arya, how do you play Anil Kumble? You just play him like an in-swing bowler.
Well, yes.
It's powerfully played by Aramanuchil, drilled it through the bowler's hands.
If you compare Anil Kumble to his predecessors who bowled for India and the spinners, whether it was Bedi, Chandra, he was more in the Chandra mold, who was quick through the air and beat batsmen through deviations off the wicket, much lesser through the air, unlike someone like Prasanna or Venkatraghavan, who were off spinners, but yet they used a lot of their guile, the length, drift. Kumble was someone who just kept chipping away at you. He kind of choked you and suffocated you.
He was very accurate.
Incredibly accurate.
Crescents 61 for the loss of 3 wickets at the end. I think it's crucial that these 2 batsmen continue. And the Crimsons looks like they are going for their experienced campaigner, Kenneth Weiswa, the Ugandan international from the Balestier Road end. The skipper is looking for another wicket here. But he seems to be only having the mandatory 4 in the 30 yards. Now, Subs, how important is it when you're on top to go for the kill?
Very important. The way I see it is the difference between chasing 130 and 160 maybe. And if I could get another wicket or 2 here, we've got 5 on the boundary line, and again it's predominantly a leg side field, if I'm correct, trying to look around.
You're almost assisting the Crescents in trying to achieve their part of the strategy, which is
Yes.
to hit singles, build a partnership.
The thing is, the last 5 overs could give them 50 runs, and all of a sudden they're back in the game.
Absolutely. Because if they hit the next 5 for 30, they'll be around 95 or 100. And like you said, the last 5, if it goes for 50, that's your 160 right there.
We look at the current projected is already 130. We've already seen that it's hard to get the spinners away on this wicket. So, when you're chasing a target, it's always good to keep it to as few as possible.
Oh, definitely, that's a very good bit of fielding there. That was blasted. And it looks like Karabo Motlanka there, the Botswana international today, skippering the Crimsons.
Yep, he's felt it.
And stopped a certain boundary. I don't know whether he was struck in the ribs by that delivery, but he certainly seemed to be down for the 10 count. That was blasted by Aramanuchil. I had a chat with the young man before the game started today. Takes great pride in his fitness. He's got arms like pistons. Powerful young cricketer.
He's got a chest like a wall that blocked the ball there, and he's feeling it at the moment. It was hit. It was hit very hard. One of the best things about that I'm finding about the EPS is these night games, because having played in Singapore for almost 16, 17 years in the daytime, it's a very pleasant 29 degrees at the moment, which could easily become 35 in the day, and I'm sure the players feel the relief as well.
Very good running between the wickets. Rohan Rangaraj there, very active. It's a live wire at backward point. But the batsman safely negotiates that single. Good running.
And this is the part of the game that I'd really like to see improve. Those good teams will throw that down. Good teams will throw that down. And that's very often that's the difference between winning and losing a game. You make something out of nothing. You never know what would have happened if he'd hit the stumps there. So, little things. Well bowled.
Good bit of heat on that delivery by Kenneth Weisver. Really bending his back on this track.
He's slippery. He's deceptive. He doesn't give you much as he runs in, but he can slip in the few quick ones.
Yes, he reminds me of one of the shorter bowlers of the great quartet of West Indian fast bowlers, Malcolm Marshall. I had a chat to speak to the great Clive Lloyd when he was down here in Singapore, and I asked him whether he didn't miss having a spinner in his attack. And he told me Garner was the spinner. Because he bowled the slowest.
He bowled the slowest. Yeah, Lloyd was done after that 75 series in Australia, wasn't he? He just didn't want anything. I mean, Hillary Angelo Gomes, Larry Gomes was the one man in the side who would wheel his arm over if needed. And I think batsmen got out more often out of relief. They just dropped their guard. They were so relieved to have a slow bowler come in.
And they were trying to score off him because there were not many drive balls from the other end, with Holding, Andy Roberts going at it.
I probably wouldn't ask for a spinner if I was the captain, if I had those four.
It's a good shot, swept away, once again powerfully. Very good bit of fielding there. Vinod Bhaskaran saves 1 run for his team. Yes, they had the policy, we'll play the best 4 bowlers. And so they did. And West Indies only lost 1 series in 12 years.
Yes.
That was the controversial one in New Zealand.
Correct.
Back to the EPS. Ramesh Singh Harvey. Bowls and he gets the underneath edge. And the umpire seems to agree with that appeal. Karthik Subramaniam seems to be disagreeing, but he will have to leave. I think the ball seemed to have taken a underneath edge. The appeal was almost simultaneous.
It's almost like the batsman knew there's an appeal coming. He was instant in his denial, probably before the appeal even. Kind of gives it away a bit.
Karthik Subramaniam employing all the tricks in the book, but the umpire, smart enough, signaled him out. Ananta Krishna strolls into the centre. Been given a promotion batting at number 6 today. Did seem to do well when he was batting at number 11. I think certainly better than a number 11. He has invested in a new bat to prove to the captain that he's better than a number 11.
He can be effective hitting it. I remember it was against the Malaysians that he finished off a game in the T20 series that was played a few months ago. And
yes, I was sitting in the
last
bomb box
over game.
right here. He did miss a few balls in the over, but managed to drill the last one for 6.
For 6, yes.
Straight away he gets into the act.
Somebody needs to remind him to run fast as well.
Yes, that's an aspect of his game he needs to focus on. And as your keen eyes have picked it up, being the chairman selectors, he needs to start motoring along between the wickets a bit faster, because that was poor running.
Regardless of where the ball is going or what it's doing, you always run the first one fast.
It'll be interesting to see how these 2 big units run between the wickets. They're not the fastest, I can tell you that straight away. Very good bowling by young
Stop, Prem.
Ramesh Singh Harvey.
Very nice, Prem. Stop to stump your Prem.
The wicket keeper there chirping away. This is where your cricketing brain needs to be activated and you need to understand the match situation. You just lost a wicket and your team wants you to play deep into the innings. Still about 9 overs remaining after this.
My only thing is I don't know if Ananta can play that way. He's, I really don't know. I think he's just best going in and doing his thing and tonking it.
And that's a very good tonk. Backward of square, backward of point, smash into the fence for 4.
He hits it really well. He's a clean hitter of the ball, and even with that, the previous ball, if he connects, I think the only thing is he loses shape. Every time you lose shape, you don't. I mean, if he kind of maintains his shape as he hits through the line, he can be this ground is very small for him.
Yes, he's a very good student of the game and is always trying to learn, pick a few new things, works very hard on his game. It'll be good to see him work on his batting as well. And I remember as a youngster when he first came, he played together with us at Ceylon Sports Club. Great Saad Khan Chanjua was our captain. And I tell you, he was a hard man. And he would really drill into these youngsters what was required to play at the highest level. It's great to see them playing and winning matches for Singapore. And today he has a job to do for his team. They would ideally want him to bat through. And to take you through to the end of this innings, I'll be inviting my friend, Mr. Mohan Subramaniam. He'll be joining you, Zubs. Mohan, good evening. Welcome to the home box.
Thanks, Jamal. Hi, Zoobs.
Hi, Mohan. Welcome.
Thanks. 71 for 4 of 11. That's not a bad run rate that the Crescents have got off to, but they've lost 4 wickets in the bargain. And here is Kenneth Weiswa. Short and lifting, and the batsman is fending it away down to third man for 1. 72 for 4 of 11.1. Ananta Krishna 6. Uchil is 5. I think Zoobs, one of the most significant wickets so far that these Crescents have lost is Karthik. He had the ability to stay at the wicket till the 20th over, go for the 1s and the 2s rather than the big shots, and hold one end up. I think that was a big blow for the Crescents.
It was, and he didn't look happy with his decision. He obviously thought he hadn't touched it, but doesn't matter. He can read the scorebook. Well bowled and very well played. And that's Ananta Krishna for you. I mean, he's just a very effective striker of the ball. Only 1, 73 for 4.
And he could be the turning point in the game. I mean, there are batsmen who don't have enough power to clear the ground, and here is one kid who looks like having the power and the timing with his big backlift to clear this ground. They need a few big blows. I know it's a game of 1s and 2s as well. That's one dimension of the game. But it's time they got a few boundaries as well, because 71 for 4 is not exactly that healthy a total if you add 2 more wickets to this total. It's now 74 for 4 of 11.3. Uchil 6. Ananta Krishna is 7. Weiswa's bowled pretty well. 2.3 overs gone. None for 14. I suspect batsmen on the surface like pace rather than the lack of it. It's harder to hit the slower ball on a track like this. Batsman is driving it down to covers. There's a man sweeping. It's a single there. 75 for 4 of 11.4.
I was telling Chama a little while ago about the little things that prove to be the difference between sides. That ball is a classic example. You'll see good sides, better batsmen take a lot more than 1 from a full toss on off stump. If you look at that ball again, it was
there to be hit.
well bowled. Yeah. And that's the part That's the part of the game that needs to see. Improvement is not the word. I think it needs to evolve. I think it's a mindset that needs to change, where you're not happy just taking one of a ball that you could take 4 of, or 6 even. And I think batsmen tend to, and that's what the situation can do to you as well. 75-4, you become very defensive, and you start to miss opportunities. Well bowled.
That was right up there in the block hole. That's the kind of ball one hopes to see in a 2020 game. We didn't see that many of those in the past few games. That was right up there, beautifully bowled by Vezva. It's 75 for 4 of 12. That's not good enough given the track record of this team. The Crimsons have Rohan Rangaraj in the team who batted the Crescents out almost single-handedly in the previous game. He had the ability not just to take chances and hit the big shots. He could rotate the strike with 1s and 2s as well. So he was a very complete batsman who took the side to victory. And the first 2 or 3 from the Crimsons looked good enough to win the game. So anything less than 150, 160 looks to be a very, very tough total to defend. But who knows, anything can happen, especially with Anantakrishna in there.
Well, we were talking before the match. We've scampered through for 1. We were talking before the match started about what a good total might be, and given the size of the ground and how good this wicket is, maybe a little on the slower side, but still, it's a very good batting wicket. Anything less than 160, really, it's poor batting. I feel there's bowlers have to work really hard on this wicket, and so far the Crimson seem to have done a very good job.
That's wide outside the off-stump by Rohan Rangaraj, and that adds to the total. 77 for 4 of 12.2. And Zubin, yes, in the outfield's lightning quick. I mean, the minute the ball is past the 30-yard and into the gap, it goes to the boundary. That's a huge hit. That's monstrous. All the way over long on for 6.
And that's Anantakrishna for you. He's got the leverage. He's got the muscle. He has all the ingredients necessary to make an all-rounder of himself. If he can then apply his skills, he's already developing well from a bowler's perspective. But it's his batting that I think is that holds so much potential. And he doesn't need to. I mean, he just needs to hit through the line of the ball. He's a clean striker, and he can hit it a long way.
Looks like a terrific timer of the ball. I saw him hit one of the back foot. Looked like a mere push, but raced away to the cover
the one
boundary.
through point.
Yeah,
The cow point. Yes.
And now he's shown the power. He's had enough. I think he's had enough of a look, and I think we'll see some fireworks if he's out there for the next 3 or 4 overs.
Be careful if it lands in his half. If you're the bowler, it's going to go.
So this is what crowds come to T20 cricket to watch. The big shots out of the park. And it's the first of hopefully a few that Anantakrishnan will provide.
If he bats through to the end,
great fun.
It'll be good fun.
Oh, stuff kebab! Stuff kebab!
Gentle push. He obviously didn't think he was going to reach the pitch of the ball, but
oh, nicely played. Just flicking it off the front foot down to mid-wicket. Running the first one hard. The back for the second. Oh, it's going to be shot. And the wicket-keeper has missed the stumps. That's a big miss. I thought he was well short of his ground.
He was. And the wicket-keeper might rue that miss later in the inning. If Anantakrishna goes on to make a 50 from here, that was an opportunity they're going to look back at.
I was a bit surprised at the way Anantakrishna took on the fielder's arm. He was charging in, had the ball in his hand when he turned, but just lucky that the keeper missed.
Anantha Krishna doesn't believe in running. He doesn't. It's too much work.
And you can see it from the strike rate. It's 16 of 10 for him. Oh, nicely played down to mid-wicket. This
He
time
likes
they're
he
for
likes the
one.
1 or 6 option. It's like a safe single to long on or long off, and then a tonk.
So it's 87 for 4 of 13. Pretty good run rate, but I still think they've lost 1 or 2 wickets more than they should have. And 7 overs left. That's all of 42 balls. Even if they get up to about 60 runs there, I think they'll be just about touching 150. I'm not so sure if it's good enough, but you never know. From the Balestier Road end, it's the very impressive Pramesh Singhavi has given the batsman no pace whatsoever to work him off. Has been accurate, fires the ball in from a height.
And what is he, 17? 17? Under 17?
Under 17.
Very
yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. So by and large, the youngsters who've been these days, we've seen Singapore cricket evolve. Some of them are
Change of bowler, coming right arm over.
terrific players, I mean, with the bat in the field. Here is Sangvi down the track, comes
Lovely
Anantha
shot.
Krishnan, straight back over the bowler's head, all the way into the road. That's 6 again. This guy is really turning it on now. 23 of 12. This,
I was telling Chama earlier, he said, the less Anantha Krishna thinks, the better. he should just play his game, play what comes naturally to him.
yeah,
He's a natural stroke maker, hits the ball clean.
yeah.
Shouldn't confuse himself with too many things and keep it simple.
Typically the C ball, hit ball types, that was as clean a hit as you can hope to see. Off the back foot, and he'll go through for 1 this time.
Well, the other thing is, like you said, there's 42 balls left, and I think sometimes teams can be guilty of trying to look at the 42 balls in totality versus thinking about how many of these 42 could I hit over the line or hit for a boundary. And should have caught that. Was that a catch? That was a catch. Oh, he's hurt himself.
I think that looks pretty
That
bad.
was hit
from here.
back
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah.
Oh, he saved 4. Used all of him to save that, which is good. So coming back to the point I was making, what batting teams need to think about is how do we get 10 or 12 boundaries in the next 42 balls, and that then becomes 48 runs, and then you still have a whole
lot of other
30 balls left. I think teams get too caught up in trying to think. T20 is almost taking batting to a ball-by-ball phase, instead of even over by over. And the good batsmen who are doing very, very well in T20 tend to think like that.
Absolutely.
They're looking at the number of balls in the boundary potential, right? So they look at 120 balls and they think, and that's what fielding sides are doing as well. So they're looking at, not more than 20 or 30 boundary balls out of 120.
Yep.
And then contain as much as you can on the rest.
Yes. And given that, Zubin, I think the best thing Uchil can do is give as much of the strike as
To
possible
Anantha
to
Krishna.
Anantha Krishna.
Absolutely.
He's seeing
That
the
would be
ball
the
well.
smart play.
Yeah. Couple of sixes already into his belt. Strike rate almost close to 200. That one's wide outside the off stump. That's a dot ball. Fielding side will take it. It's 95 for 4 of 14. I saw the bowler being hit by the hit of the batsman. I often wonder these days in international cricket, and I worry for the safety of bowlers and the umpires, because the ball comes back off the bat at such a rapid pace with all those fat bats, and sometimes worry. I think one of the bowlers, Ashok Dinda, in one of the league games somewhere in India got hit on the temple.
Let's go now, run.
And I almost get the feeling that very soon we'll see umpires wearing helmets. Oh, there he goes again. Wow. That's cleared the ground easily.
Now run.
Good hit. It was in the slot, and this is again the point I was making earlier about an off spinner bowling round the wicket. There's very little. You got to be. You've really got to have a plan.
Unlucky, run.
That was Ariman Uchil who hit that hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Right there in the slot. And
the margin for error is very little. Very little. In T20, generally, the margin for error is very little. But if you're an off spinner bowling round, very little guile or turn, then you're struggling.
Yeah. I think Rohan's trying to fire it into his legs and.
Well, then he's really got to be up there.
Up there.
He's
giving room again.
And this is again room.
Yeah. Swiped it to mid wicket for one, and the score
Ariman
is
opting to go over mid wicket for that instead of over cover.
Yeah.
Probably. But he was kind of made up in his mind that he wants to go there.
Yeah. 102 for 4, 14.2 gone. And Ananta Krishna is really lining them up now. Oh, fired it into his toes. Good ball under the circumstances. Restricts big Ananta Krishna to 1, and it's 103 for 4 of 14.3. Oh, that's nicely played. But there's a fielder at short cover.
Bit of a missed opportunity, in fact. There's only one man to beat on the boundary, on the offside, and if he found the gap, then.
So good comeback by Rohan, I thought. 2 dot balls after that 6, not too bad. 14.5 gone, 103 for 4. Big appeal. The umpire says not out. Score remains on 103 for 4 of 15. Nicely poised, Zubin.
Yes, it is. 5 overs to go. Anything can happen. A good 5 overs could mean another 50 runs from here. More importantly, if Ananta Krishna comes off, it could mean another 50 runs from here. I'm not too sure of the batting, the batting power down the order, but he's still there, and if he can effectively get half of those 30 balls that are remaining, then we could be in for a decent score.
And a tight game for a change, because the last match I saw between these two was as one-sided as it gets.
It was, yes. It was very one-sided.
A very unique way of measuring his run-up, Chingwara. I'll be very interested to see how Ananta Krishna shapes up to a bowler who is slightly quicker than the 2 spinners he's been facing all along. But with pace on the ball, if Ananta Krishna can connect 1 or 2, it can go a long way. Chingwara's figures 1 for 20 of 2. He's bowling to a deep fine leg, 3 men patrolling the onside boundaries. No one really there on the leg side to stop the 1s and the 2s. There's a backward point, cover, mid-offs up. Here goes Chingwara. Oh, that's a great shot.
Well, he was asking for it, wasn't he? He's got all his men inside the circle on the offside, so he really needed to be right there in the block hole. He's got 3-4 fielders on the onside, on the boundary line. Nobody inside the circle. That was a gift. That was a gift.
But there was some power by Ananta Krishna. Shot outside the off stump, enough room to
free his arms,
and
yep,
hit
absolutely.
that almost flat over extra cover. Did that go all the way for 6? I'm not so sure if
no, that was 4.
That's 4. 107 for 4 of 15.1. Bowler's not going to be happy with that. Let's see what happens now. short, and this time smartly playing it backward of point, but good smart fielding by Rohan Rangarajan. Was ensuring that the batsmen don't cross over. 29 of 18 is Anantha Krishna, and so far he's played the innings that has lifted the Crescents from mediocrity to some level of respectability now. 107 of 4 of 15 is a strike rate in excess of 7 runs and over. And if they can accelerate now, it can give them a decent fighting total. He's hitting the deck, is Chingwara, and this time gets away with it. The batsman choosing to let it go by.
That was well bowled. Anantha Krishna not expecting it, and clearly he's got his shots set in his mind.
Yeah.
Didn't want anything to do with that ball.
But the bowler
It's been a good partnership, 42 of 31.
Fantastic partnership,
It has helped them come back into the game somewhat. They're not
Yeah.
out of the woods yet.
Sure. And I think, Zubin, the bowlers are not really, unless I'm missing something, are not really aiming for the block hole. They're bowling length, which is always, in this form of the game, at this stage of the game, always the batsman is going to take a chance and he's able to get under the ball and strike at the ball. I haven't seen that many Yorkers at all. Let's see what Chingbara bowls now. If he bowls length, he's going to go. Wow. And that was there to be hit. I think it took a swipe.
Yep.
Missed out there.
Lost his shape, took his eyes off the ball. I think it was the great Wasim Akram who once said, probably the best bowler of the Yorker.
By a long
And
way.
yet,
yes.
it's such a difficult ball.
Absolutely.
It extracts so much out of you, as does the bouncer, but the Yorker is just that much more. Because if you get it wrong, the price you pay can be
heavy.
hefty.
Yeah.
And so bowlers are really, I mean, you look at,
Wow. That's gone a long way.
that's a long way, and
This is great fun.
he can bat.
Yeah. Again,
back.
bowling length and
But that was a length
Got
ball.
under
But
it.
yet,
Yeah.
he just connects. He's got his
Beautiful
He's got his areas, and he focuses on them. Doesn't think too much. Keeps it simple. Impressive knock so far.
Yeah.
But you should really finish it. Really finish it. Go to the end here.
And this is a great battle between the bowler and the batsman. Let's see if the bowler pulls out something from his hat. Let's see if he has a slower one to deceive the batsman. Because he continues to bowl pace and continues to bowl this length. This is right up Anantha Krishna's alley. Helped himself to 2 sixes already of 4 balls. Missed out on 1. This is the last ball.
A 4 and a 6.
4 and a 6. Sorry.
No.
Here goes Chingwara. Oh,
bowled.
that was
Slow
nicely
ball.
bowled. Pulled it back nicely. That was a slow one we were talking about. 113 for 4 of 16. I wonder what are the bowling options the fielding side has now. Looks to me that they are bringing in their left-hander from the far end, Vinod.
He's still got 1 over.
And very impressive figures as well. 1 for 12 of 3 overs.
I haven't really seen anyone challenge him yet. Like really take the attack to him. It would be really good to see if somebody did that and how he responds. Again, that's one of the things that you see change as the level goes up. You get batsmen of a better caliber and better ticker as well. You know, they're not scared. He hasn't turned the ball much,
At
so
all,
you know it's a calculated risk coming down the track to him, especially on the ones he just puts there.
Yeah.
I remember calling them wall paintings. You know, the ones you just hang over there. If they're not going to turn, they are a wall painting, really. So
Wow, it's
Beautiful shot.
straight down, long on.
beautiful shot, and that's
Over
what I
long on
mean
for
by coming
6.
down the track, hitting through the line.
Yes.
Somebody's got to really take it to him.
And what Ananthakrishnan is doing is he's scared to flight the ball. I don't blame him. Vinod is doing is he's scared to flight the ball to Ananthakrishnan because Ananthakrishnan has the power to clear the ropes. But point here is the quicker he's bowling, the easier it is for Ananthakrishnan to get a good connection. And that was a great connection last time. Oh, that's nicely bowled, well played as well.
Quicker through the air, that ball. And this is where Vinod will have to work on turn. You know, he's always going to be scared to flight the ball if he can't turn it.
Yep.
Because he's not going to beat the batsman.
Exactly.
If he doesn't have that turn.
Yep.
The whole idea being to flight it, draw the batsman and turn it away.
Yes.
He'll always lack that confidence if he doesn't have that turn in his arsenal.
Absolutely.
Of the balls that he bowls.
That's a whole dimension of spin bowling. I heard you talk about Prasanna and Bedi. I often wonder how they would have fared if you take away their batting in modern day 2020 cricket. That's for after this over, as Uchil hits him down to mid-wicket for an easy single. 16.5 overs gone, 122 for 4. He's bowling flatter and flatter. The batsmen are easily milking him for ones and twos. These guys are wickets in the back. They can now afford to take the chances and really go hell for leather. From round the wicket, the left armour. Oh, and that's well bowled on a length and keeps the batsman quiet.
That's a classic Ananthakrishna back foot defense. He just decided he wasn't going to do anything.
Yes.
It's 106, you know, and he's effective. He's done. It's a lovely 42.
Great
so
job, yeah.
Talking about the spinners, I think we've been very fortunate in Singapore. Over the years that I've been here, we've seen two really, really good off spinners in Singapore. One was a very dear friend who played when I played, Sundarmani, and then we had Dharmi coming from Bangalore as well. Both big turners of the ball, both with a very effective dusra, away ball, and you never saw them push the ball through. You saw them test the batsman with subtle variations in length and big turn. And big turn, the ball going away, the ball top spinning, and I remember some of the quicker ones that Sundar had would go as they'd be quicker than some of our quick bowlers from a very, very short run up. So it's that variety that gave them the confidence. Interesting choice of
that is a
bowler here. Unfortunately, he's dropped that on the boundary line and
tipped it over the bar. That he hit it.
And Uchil's got a 6.
Yep.
Bad luck, Chetan.
Yep.
But got a wicket first ball. Interesting bowling change at this stage.
I suspect the batsmen will like this kind of pace, Zubin.
Absolutely. And they'll like the extra
Yes.
ball and run as well.
Yeah, and Chetan's slightly intimidated by the previous shot for 6. Tried to play safe, pushed it wide outside the off stump. The batsmen look to be on top right now. This time from round the wicket. Oh, he smashed it out. That's a huge 6. The biggest of them all.
That is the biggest of them all. Big hit.
Well, this is the kind of
Two
pace
strong
batsmen
lads.
would. Yep.
Two strong lads in the middle, and they're now beginning to show a little bit of what they can do. They keep going like this. We'll be getting to about 160, 170.
Terrific comeback, yeah.
That would be a very good comeback from what it was 48 for 3, if I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was just the right length for the batsman, and it really struck. That took off. Would have landed a long way into the Ceylon Sports Club. A pretty expensive over already. 12 runs of the first 2 plus a wide.
Always a risky proposition, a bowling change at this stage. It's a bit hard on the bowler as well.
Yes.
Having to come in and bowl 2 set batsmen.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose.
Oh, he's hit that again beautifully. Oh, and that's gone all the way as well. He's pushing the fielder back with his power.
I think he lost that ball in the background somewhere. He probably didn't pick it, which is why he looks surprised. I can't make out who the fielder is.
But that was, the batsmen are really running right now.
was
139 for 4.
Very hard. He hit it real hard. And
Oh my goodness.
there's another one.
This is a terrific hit down
It's
the
raining
ground.
boundaries.
Yeah. I thought you said Krishnan was the big hitter. Uchil is no less.
Well, he is being helped by some very ordinary bowling. That's a very poor over. Those are half trackers.
Yeah. As I said, Zubin, this pace, 18th over, really
Those
a
are half
sitting
trackers
duck.
at 120 Ks. They're
Not
most
so
batsmen
slow.
would fancy their chances.
Finally, Chetan's able to keep the batsman quiet. But this is a much, much better total than what the Crescents would have hoped for.
Well, it's now got all the makings of being a really good total if it gets to 180 from here, although it's only 2 overs left. But
Yeah.
if they have anything like this over, another over like this one, then you never know. Single?
Oh, they didn't take the first one hard enough. If they had pushed the fielder there was a misfield. They could have come back for 2, but these guys will be very happy with this. 18 overs gone, 144 for 4. Ananthakrishna is 42, Uchil's 39. And both these guys deserve 50s.
We might see both of them get greedy and farm the strike for 1 over each,
Yeah.
and get to individual landmarks, which will only help their side because
Yes,
they were certainly not looking at a score like this at the halfway mark.
absolutely. So I think Chingwar has changed his end, and he's going to be setting down the 19th over. 12 balls left. The Crescents are 144 for 4. Taking strike is Arimun Uchil, who's got 39 of 35. Oh, that's a brilliant shot down the ground. That's hit the side
He has-
screen on the full.
Drill that down the ground, dead center.
Look, he's pulling out his shots all of a sudden, and he's gone one up on Ananthakrishna. He's on 45 of 36. All of a sudden, he's unraveling his entire range of stroke play. He's hit shots to all corners of the field, and this has been an extremely entertaining partnership to watch. 85 of 47. It's as good as it gets. Chingwara under pressure into the 19th over. Taking strike is Ariman Uchil. That's hit magnificently through mid-wicket for 4.
And another
Wow.
boundary. Wow.
That's 4 again.
Wow. Brilliant batting.
This is the kind of cricket the crowds come to watch. But this is some exhibition by these two guys, Ananthakrishna and Ariman Uchil. Again, the bowler bowling length. Batsman getting full value on this extremely fast IA outfield.
We were looking at a projected score of 130 at the halfway mark, and we're at about 168 now, and I have a feeling that it might actually end up being more than that. If the wicketkeeper could do something there, and
That was a direct hit, and Krishna was ambling. He should have been putting his head down and charging for the strikers end.
yeah, it was always the risk. It's a part of his game that's just, that so kind of lets him down. His running between the wickets just doesn't make the effort.
Just give,
I do understand he's a big unit, but he's not the first one.
gently ambling down the wicket, and the wicketkeeper this time doesn't miss. And that's a wicket these guys will be, that's a bonus. They'll be very happy with this because this guy was really doing them some damage. He's back in the hut, and the Crescents are 154 for 5, and that looks like Amjad from here.
That definitely looks like Amjad from here.
So 18.3 overs gone, it's 154 for 5. Amjad Mehboob. he can wield the long handle as well,
He
put a
can,
few over
yes.
the boundary.
He certainly can, and I think that's his only preferred option. You know, he's not the most sprightly between the wickets, and he still bowls a heavy ball, but no, he's going to look to go for maximum.
Yeah. So if Chingwara pitches it up in the zone, I think Mehboob will have a go for sure. And there's a long off, mid-off's back. There's a long on the boundary. And a deep mid-wicket.
So there's
There.
Amjad
Yeah.
doing what he does best, clubbing it off to mid-wicket. I think it's a pick by Chetan.
And I'd be very interested to see how Uchil fares now. He's played every shot in the book, Zubin. The uppercut, the hit over cover, straight hit over mid-wicket, square leg, all round the ground. So it's going to be great fun to see what he does, how innovative he gets of these last two balls. And the next over. Shot, and he's hit that down to mid-wicket for one. Bowler's choosing to pitch it short.
Back up, yeah, back up.
That was well bowled. He cramped him for space, but that's a very good 50.
It's a
That's
great
an
50.
excellent
yeah.
50. Under the circumstances, pulling his side out of trouble and taking them to taking the score to, I'd say, respectability and even being a competitive total.
Yep.
If they get to 160 from here,
Where's Chingwara now to Amjad having a go. A big swipe. Ball was there to be hit, but Amjad missed it. Well, the Crescents won't be unhappy with that because that gives Uchil 6 balls of the last over to play with. He's 50, very well played 50 by Uchil as well, 50 of 39. So we are into the last over now, Zubin. And you're right, about 14 or
160.
15 from here. I think we're looking at about 160.
and that's what we were talking
170 or there.
at the time of the toss. 160 I thought was par, and we're pretty close. So over 160 you'd fancy your chances. But then again, in T20 you never know. 2 overs change the game very, very quickly.
And I think if these guys get to about 165, 170 and get Rohan out quickly and a couple more in the first 5 or 6 overs, then we really have a game on our hands. This is going to be great fun. Kenneth Weisba lets the ball go.
He's bowled really well, 16 off his 3 overs.
Yeah.
He's a deceptive bowler. He's slippery.
Yep. There you go.
He's got great variations in pace.
Lovely change of pace, yeah.
You know, and then there are the ones that he slips in that go really quick.
Yep.
And he bowls really good slower balls. And it's amazing how the game has evolved and how much fast bowlers have to use slower balls.
Absolutely. And that is a great example. I mean, they'll take a dot ball in the 20th over with just 5 wickets down any day. Beautifully bowled. Almost a flighted ball. The batsman swung too early. Here goes Weisva. Slow ball again. Great delivery.
Beaten for pace of the slow kind. This is where a batsman's probably got to talk to himself and look to keep his shape and hit through the line. You do have to make a few calculated guesses, take some calculated risks. This is where it becomes a real mind game.
Absolutely. So much of the game is in the mind, Ruben. Oh, he's bowled that beautifully again.
See, he's obviously reading the batsman better than the other way around, right? Because he's bowled 3 slower balls.
Yep.
And every time Ariman's thought this is going to be the quicker one, and it hasn't come. It's almost like a game of chess.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also shows that on a track like this, batsmen love that little bit of pace on the ball. If you notice, the bowlers that have gone for the big sixes are the ones that gave a little bit of speed on the ball, velocity on the ball. Again, the slow one, all that Mehboob can do is...
But that's experience from Amjad. He picked the change of pace. He's just come in. He's only just come in, and that's probably why. I think a little more time and Amjad could easily have hit that.
No time really for a sighter for Amjad.
2 more balls.
And just one of this over. That's great bowling.
It's a very good over so far.
Yeah.
2 runs of the over.
2 of this over, 158 for 5. Oh, that's well bowled again.
Incredibly well bowled.
And that's
Very
something
poor
that the
keeping.
bowler will be very unhappy with.
Disappointing for the bowler and the captain, but 4 useful runs for the batting side.
That's right through the gate. 162 for 5. And the bowler would have expected much better than that from the wicketkeeper. Not all that difficult to ball to stop. Keeper should have done all he could to put his body behind it.
Last ball. Come on, Uchil.
Oh, that's gone straight up into the air. Fielder's getting underneath that. Oh, and he's held on to a great catch. Couldn't have
That
been
has got
easy
to
at
be
all.
an incredible catch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't quite make out who's taken it.
It was a long way in the air.
Incredible catch. I mean, that to just be able to keep their eyes on the ball, phenomenal effort.
Very difficult.
Terrific
angle.
catch.
Yeah. Just went miles up in the air. And the fielder did well to hold on to it. So the Crescents end with 162 for 6, healthy total. The bowlers, if they deliver and get 1 or 2 quick wickets, I think we're in for a terrific cricket match here, Zubin.
This will be a good match. 160 in 20 overs. I think that's just about par. I think a good batting side should chase that. 8 an over on this ground really should not be a tough ask. It will take the Crimsons to bowl, the Crescents, sorry, to bowl really well. And the team's in a bit of a huddle at the moment in the ground before they go off. We got the roller out there, and maybe this will be a good time to head out to the middle.
Let's do that.
कितने वो हाँ ये लाइट अच्छी है बैठे
Facing this way, Sadbhai?
वो कैमरा आ जाए भाई आए बैठे ना सुबीर भाई चेयर लेके आए अरे भाई just 160
Said it, yeah.
That's what we were expecting. But
Yeah.
I think it was as a result of the 2 partnerships, Karthik
I mean-
Subramaniam. Gentlemen, what a great innings that was. A great comeback by the Crescents.
Terrific hitting. Finally, some big hitting in a 2020 game, and I really enjoyed Anantha Krishnan's batting and Uchal in particular. I think he pulled out shots suddenly. We weren't expecting him to hit shots like those, and some of them were incredible shots. Some great stroke play at the IA.
Subs, what was your take on that? You were there right through watching two youngsters putting a partnership there, two crucial partnerships, and getting their team to a good competitive total.
Yes, it didn't look like they would get to 160 at the halfway mark. I mean, the projected score at that time was about 130, and then that partnership of, I think, 86 between Aryaman Uchil and Anantha Krishna. They're both very strong lads. They really hit a clean ball, as I call it. There's no doubt about their batting, and it's clean hitting, and I think they've got the team to a par score. I don't know if it's a safe total. Well, no total in T20 is ever safe, but like we were talking before the match, anything north of 160 is probably where you start to feel comfortable, and this is just at the cusp at about 162.
We also have Mr. Subir Gatak, the Deputy President of SCA, one of the architects of this tournament and a great supporter of Singapore cricket. I saw you very excited there by the boundary ropes. Must be great watching the Singapore youngsters perform.
Yeah, this is what we were waiting for, and it's a great achievement for Singapore Cricket Association. Especially Zubin Bhai is there, who is our selector, and we can see something happening now in Singapore, and this will take us to the next level.
And also busy there writing his notes away. Sadbhai, you must be a very happy man, putting all this effort in bringing this EPS alive, getting the lights, the facilities, but also outside the ground. We see now the approach to training, the seriousness, the professionalism. Talk us a little bit about how your vision in all of this is.
Bhai, actually, you see that whatever we are doing, that was actually due on us, and we are trying our level best to sort out this. And you can understand that from the numbers what we have now from the youngsters, and today what we watch, what we witness, that was amazing. And if you ask from me, this is a blessing for me that my selectors are here, so they are watching the game. So end of the day, it is all about, witness the whole thing. So it will help us to select the team properly. And if you see that the way Ananta played, and Aryaman Uchal, I tell, he was hammering the ball. The ball was crying actually. Amazing cricket.
Yeah, he was a bit like a firefighter, putting the ball on fire. And also in terms of, it almost feels like the passing of a baton. You gentlemen have been involved in Singapore cricket for such a long time, and all of us have been witnessing this. And with the youngsters stepping up, and they are playing fearless cricket against both their own seniors as well as foreign players. This must augur well for Singapore cricket.
You see, Jamal, in our team, all these three teams are having our senior players and foreign players, and we have emerging player as well. And every team is actually having two players from under 19, and even you see that under 17 bowlers are bowling in EPS, and they are giving us good result. So it is, end of the day, it is in line with our vision. So we want to have in Singapore competitive cricket. The culture is growing, and you can see that many people are coming here to watch the game, and lights are there, weather is good, and pitch is played amazingly, and you can trust on the bounce. So there is everything which is improving. End of the day, I really appreciate the people who are involved with us in this whole system, and I thank you to them. And also, I want to say one thing about the sponsors, right? Our sponsor, Mariners Cricket Club, and KTP Export, Mr. Randhir Bansal, and Synergy, Mr. Sairam. They came up and they support us, and they help us to make this happen. That events like this are not possible if you don't have financial support from the sponsors. And on behalf of Singapore Cricket Association, I want to thank you to all sponsors. Thanks a lot.
I'm just going to add to that. There was a period I was away from Singapore cricket from the time I stopped playing, and then when I was brought back into the fold of things as a selector. And believe me, I do very little. I just have to select. What Saad does and what his team does is incredible. I mean, they just, the work they've done to put this whole thing together. Mahmood has been, he's provided very effective leadership at an association level. But at the ground level, what Saad and his team are doing, I've seen Singapore's struggles. I came here 10 years before Saad did. And, it wasn't easy. We used to struggle to make ends meet. And today, here we are, under lights. We're having a tournament of our own, which is a phenomenal achievement. I mean, Saad and I were fortunate that we played our cricket in a system where we got great competition, but these players lack that. They don't have it. So to have something like the EPS, where they can play against players of a decent standard. I mean, Saad's played in Pakistan, I played in India, and we had 300 guys turn up at a net. But they don't have that, and you've got to compete to get better. And that's what this EPS is doing, which is fantastic.
Yes, and also it's provided a great platform for the youngsters to prove themselves, and every run scored has value and every wicket taken has value, and it makes a good case for selection and gives validity for a case of selection. And I think as we look over the shoulder, the Crimson's innings is about to get underway. And yes, Zubin, testament to what you said, when these lights were going on, Saad Bhai basically camp up here 24/7 and make sure that things are all going according to plan. And then Subir Bhai here always 24/7 supporting the people, making sure all that support is there. And we were talking on commentary, Mohan as well, a little while ago. I mean, playing in the hot sun, and sometimes even the national players not having the opportunity to come for practices. But now there's no room for excuses. The facilities have been provided. Wonderful lights, wonderful training facilities under shelter. And it's all happening for Singapore cricket, and it's a very exciting time.
I think Saad's been camped here for a very long time. It's just the lights that have come on now. And his effort has been many years in the making. And I think what we are seeing now is the light shining on it.
And what's really heartening to see, Zubin and all you gentlemen, is that that there are so many players of diverse nationalities coming in here. All of a sudden you've got cricketers from Sri Lanka, from Africa. So
Uganda.
All of a sudden it's given a flavor, an international flavor to the game, which is so heartening to see. And I hope this grows. It can only grow from here, because these facilities are genuinely world class. I mean, these lights, white ball cricket, colored clothing, I think it's got all the ingredients. And if this can only go from strength to strength, if you can see more such players, the standards are definitely going to go up. So it's fantastic to see this.
Yes, and there's been great positive feedback from far and wide, as far as Canada, going all the way across to Australia. People watching this EPS live via Facebook and YouTube live feeds. Still, despite the differences in the time, they're brewing their coffee and they're staying up late watching the games. There's a lot of excitement being generated, and well over 1 million viewers. And I think that's a great platform for Singapore cricket.
Yeah, that's right. A few days back there was a discussion that why we are having T10 among the juniors, and Saad Bhai rightly said that we want match winners, not to give away the match in last 2 hours. So the foundation is being made, and SCA is going strength to strength, taking advices from everybody. And of course, with this ground in Indian Association, thanks, a lot of thanks to not only Indian Association, all the ground staff to make this happen. Everybody working out day and night to make this happen. Especially the pitches are really giving good response, and thanks to everybody who is putting a lot of efforts in that. Thank you.
One of the noteworthy things in the WCL was we were the youngest team in all the sides that played over there. We had an average age of well under 30, whereas every other side that was playing was probably with an average age of 32, 34, Saad Bhai, and it was that's positive for us. You know, we've got that much. We had 5 players below 20, and that means more runway for our players. You know, it's very heartening to see.
Yeah, and the development pipeline and the work that has been put in by the Singapore Cricket Association, and in particular with the support of the Exco and under Sadbhai's guidance. I mean, I'm pretty close to the Sri Lankan Cricket Board, and I get feedback from them that they're envious of some of the tournaments the youngsters get to play T10s, under lights. I mean, you don't hardly get this even back in a test playing country. And also there are a lot of players that are eager to come and participate in this tournament. So that augurs really well for Singapore cricket going forward.
Yep.
Yeah, so like I said, it makes for some great viewing. And I think it's a weekday. But had this been a weekend, we would have seen far greater crowds. And we're in for a very exciting game as the Crimsons are just coming out to bat. This should be great fun to watch. It's going to be, Jamal, a much tighter finish hopefully than the one we saw last time.
Yes, the top order of the Crimsons are in form, but let's see whether the Crescents can get through that top order and test the middle order. We will join you shortly with the live commentary. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining this session.
Thanks.
A very good evening. We're back live from the Singapore Indian Association at Balestier Road in Singapore. It's a wonderful, wonderful evening in Singapore, a typical 30 degrees in the shade even, but a nice breeze blowing across the ground from right to left from where we are seated at the pavilion end. And the Crimsons are about to get their batting underway. Their openers are just about walking in and taking guard. The Crescents did a great comeback job, I think, from where they were at the halfway mark to finish at 162. And we're going to have Amjad Mahboob open the bowling for the Crescents.
Yeah, so
He's the Singapore stalwart. And like I said, he still bowls a heavy ball. So It'll be interesting to see how he kicks off and how they chase this total.
Some really brilliant late order hitting by Ananta Krishnan and Uchil gave them this total of 162. Brings up two batsmen of contrasting styles. On the one hand, we have Rohan Rangarajan, young man, has the ability to play the long innings, gets the ones and the twos, has great match awareness, keeps the scoreboard ticking all the time, runs fast between the wickets, pulls out the big shots every now and then. On the other, we have Chetan Suryavanshi, who's been there a long, long time, who's seen a lot of cricket, who's played a lot of cricket in Singapore. So, two very experienced.
Both our batsmen I would like to see open the batting. Even for Singapore, I think they both have a very good prospect. Rohan, I'd like to see probably bat longer. At times, I feel he doesn't do enough justice to his talent. He's immensely talented. He makes it look easy, gets to a 30, and then he tends to give it away.
You know, Zubin, I saw him hit 5 to 6 sixes the other day. I often wondered how a man of such a slight build could get that kind of timing and power behind all those big shots.
The world's greatest batsman, Don Bradman, was a very slight build. So
build has nothing much to do with it.
Sachin.
Spearing it down the leg side, and that's a big wide.
If ever there was a loosener, that was one. Wide. So that's effectively 2 runs for them.
Yep.
Manpreet wearing the gloves. Something says he'll probably bowl as well. I don't know. We now have Rohan on strike.
So Amjad Mehboob, he's the wicket-taking bowler for the Crescents. The captain will be looking to Mehboob to deliver 1 or 2 quick blows, couple of quick wickets. These guys are in with a real chance. That shot gets the batsman on his toes, cramped him for room completely, and had him on the back foot, pegged him back, but the batsman quick to scamper through for 1. That's been the hallmark of this guy's batting. Every time I see him, gets the 1s and the 2s, a lot of them, to keep the scoreboard moving. But that was a good delivery by Mehboob.
And that's where Amjad is deceptive. You know, he looks, he's middle-aged, he's portly, but he still comes, and like I said, he bowls a heavy ball. He still turns it on for Singapore from time to time. He gets us the breakthroughs and the early wickets every time we've needed them against some very good opposition. And you can just imagine what he would have been like in a much younger avatar, you know, very, very effective and quick.
Something about the Pakistanis, right, Zubin, that keeps producing this queue of fast bowlers.
They do, and for some reason, that's kind of dried up of late. You haven't seen them be that effective. In fact, interestingly, it's been the Indian fast bowling attack that's been very sensational.
Yes.
I mean, you look at the 3 guys bowling, and I don't think I don't know what it is. I mean, there's something about the amount of talent there is. Oh, he's gone.
That's the
Chetan
breakthrough.
is gone.
That's the breakthrough.
That was a low ball.
Yep.
He didn't pick it.
You're right.
He played through too early.
Oh, well, these guys would be very happy with the start.
dear. That's an early. That's probably the start the Crescents wanted.
Yes.
You know, Chetan is a big wicket.
Yes.
He's a big wicket. He's been a top batsman in Singapore cricket for many years. Yes. He can really turn it on. I mean, if he'd gotten going, this 160 would have looked small, but that's a very big wicket.
And Mehboob strikes. I think he's done exactly what his captain wanted. Early strike for the Crescents, the Crimsons, 3 for 1. And
that is Amjad's experience again. You know, he's bowled 2 or 3 quick balls and then that quick change in pace. Chetan clearly done by the change of pace.
Yep.
Slow one, playing too early. simple catch to Anand Krishna at mid-on.
And in 2020 cricket, a wicket invariably puts the batting side under a bit of pressure, pegs the scoring rate back. The batsman, no matter how good he is, has to have a few balls to get his eye in. A great job done by Mehboob with the very first over.
We see that replay again, and we also see that the ball climbed after it pitched. It kind of hit him high on the bat, and that's a good seam position. Another of Amjad's features, he has a very good seam position when he bowls, which allows him to get the movement and the control that he has.
Like you said, very seasoned campaigner, full of experience.
Wily campaigner as well.
And coming back to the Indian quicks, Zubin, absolutely. I mean, Jasprit Bumrah and Bhuvneshwar Kumar,
just Mohammad Shami.
Superb.
Oh, he is in superb form.
I would have never have thought India could produce so many quick bowlers at the same time.
Umesh Yadav doesn't get in the side. I mean, he bowls, he's probably the quickest of the lot. And he showed it in the recent Ranji Trophy final where he got 7 wickets, if I'm correct, or in the semi-final, one of the games. He was in good form, but he doesn't get he doesn't walk into the side.
Yeah. And a lot of credit to B. Arun, the bowling coach as well.
Indeed.
This time Rohan does what he does best in the early stages, hits the ball between mid-on and mid-wicket and scampers through for 1. Busy batsman, keeps the scoreboard moving at all times. 4 for 1, 5 balls gone of the first over. Yeah, so the Indian quicks from the land of spin, which produced such all-time great bowlers, suddenly dominated.
It's got a lot to do with the change of wickets as well in domestic cricket. You see, there's been a fundamental shift in focus. I think the BCCI has taken it upon itself to prepare more sporting wickets for the domestic competitions, because otherwise it's going to be very, very discouraging for the quicker bowlers at least, if they're not going to get the help and assistance needed to get better. End of the first over, 4 for 1. Naveen Param, the trio of the 3 brothers who've all played for Singapore at some point in time or the other. Anish, of course, being the eldest, if I'm correct, playing in Australia. And
this is the Singapore version of the Ian, Greg, Trevor Chappell brothers?
Probably. But they all bowl overarm. They prefer not to bowl, in fact, if they can, but if they do, they bowl proper overarm, the regular. James Cox, where's James from? Is he English? He's English, yes.
Wow.
Very interesting action.
But the outside edge is raced away to third man for 4.
And
4
again,
of the
another
first.
slippery
Yeah.
customer. He's deceptive.
And batsmen don't like facing bowlers with these funny actions. I mean,
Yep.
it's not the run-of-the-mill quick bowler, smooth action. Like Jasprit Bumrah, for example. Every batsman struggles
it's his
against
USP.
that.
You know, it's Bumrah is difficult to pick. It's like facing a bowling machine.
Yeah.
You know, you see the carry on that ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wide, but the carry will tell you that he's slippery.
Yeah.
And Bumrah's a lot like that, right? You just can't. I mean, he's stuttering till about the last 4 yards to the stump. And I was listening to the commentators talk about a famous story about how he didn't have space growing up where he played cricket, and so he developed a run-up that kind of imitated a long run-up, where he stuttered.
That's it. Batsman trying to hit that down the ground. I suspected that was in the block hole. So 3 balls gone. He conceded a 4 of the first ball. That is a moral victory for the bowler. It's 8 for 1 or 1.3. And Bumrah's run-up, Zubin, is so, it's a little more than Nathan Lyon's run-up. He walks half the way.
He stutters.
And then it's
literally
about 5 or 6 steps, and then the speed he generates, it's unbelievable.
All that's missing is a backward step in that run-up.
Yeah.
And he'd confuse the batsman totally.
That shot was there for the pull, but the batsman misses it.
He reminds me, James Cox comes through as a bit of a right-handed version of
Sohail Tanvir.
Sohail Tanvir, the wrong-footed Pakistani fast bowler who was very, very effective. A very important member of the Rajasthan Royals when they made their debut in the IPL, and they won it in the first year.
Shot pegs the batsman back.
This is an excellent start by the Crescents. They've been on the money, they've not given anything away, and we're coming to the end of 2 overs, and the score's 9 for 1. The one thing about a T20 game is that run rate can creep up on you very, very quickly. So the Crimsons will have to be careful about not letting this get out of hand.
I really think the key wicket is Rohan. He's batted so well right through this tournament. He's been in great form. If they can get him quickly, the Crescents are in with a big chance. Immaculately
Well
played
bowled,
by.
brilliantly bowled,
Yeah.
on the money. James Cox, hard to pick, very hard to pick. That action of his makes it really, really difficult. Bowls at a good pace as well, good carry, hits the ball hard. Hits the bat hard, sorry.
The Crescents, we have to wait and see what they do. Are they going to pull out some innovation here and get in a spinner? Or is it going to be Mehboob? He'll continue. His confidence is high. He's picked up a wicket of his first over. And he'll probably bowl through his overs, given his fitness levels. I'm not so sure if he'll be as loose as he is when it
That
comes
is
to the later
paradoxical,
overs.
given his fitness levels, bowling through his overs. Thankfully, this is a T20. Amjad is always confident. He's a wonderful character to have in the team, and he's always positive. We keep reminding each other of the weight we've put on, and from time to time. But he's the one who's still playing active cricket, and he's served Singapore well. He's for whatever it is worth. He's effectively done what's been asked of him.
Yeah, look, he's bending his back. He's giving it everything he has.
Yeah.
So this is the wicket these guys will be looking to get. Amjad bowls to Rohan, is laying it down to short mid-wicket. Good field positioning there. Prevents the batsman from scampering through for 1. It's 10 for 1 of 2.2.
I think the one area where a lot of the cricketers here will possibly learn from those coming from outside will be the fitness levels. When they'll see a lot of these other cricketers coming from other countries who play a decent standard of cricket, they will realize that it is well bowled. That went through pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Rohan's a bit restless, and maybe he needs to just give himself a little more time. Never easy, letting those balls pass, especially when you're chasing.
Pretty good start by the Crescents. 2.3 overs gone. Crimson are 10 for 1. Well bowled by Mehboob again. There goes Rohan. Quickly to the other side. Scores now 11 for 1. The Crescents have two men on the offside and the onside saving the one. It was a shortish mid-wicket. Point, cover, mid-off's up, mid-on's up. There's a man on the mid-wicket boundary and a short fine leg. A fine leg inside the 30-yard circle. What Mehboob was trying to do is cramp the batsman for room, not letting him free his arms. And so far he's done exactly that. Dabbing it down to third man, and that's racing away to the boundary for 4.
Those are the short, straight boundaries on either side of the wicket, and get it in the gap, and you get good value for your shots. That was deliberately played through the slips. Bit of a discussion between the captain and the fielder at mid-off. Is that Manpreet? No. No, it isn't. Yes, he'll probably be a little disappointed with that, Amjad, but he's still done a good job. 1 of 9 and bowling the last ball of a second over.
Oh. That jammed his thumb onto the bat there. That was quick.
And that's the heavy ball I keep talking about.
Yeah.
Amjad bowls a heavy ball. He hits the deck. And it's kind of like the ball, he gets a great seam position, which is why he gets more lift off the surface. We saw that with the ball that got Chetan. I think it climbed, it got big on him. And same thing this time, where the ball really got big on him and hit him on the gloves.
$15 for 1 of the first 3 overs. And the bowler from the far end will continue to be James Cox, who's bowled 1 over for 5 runs.
This is a great start by the Crescents. They're in the third over, 15 for 1. I think at some point in time, the Crimsons will really have to start turning it up.
Oh, that's a great
And that
hit.
is a
Up and
cracking
over.
shot.
Up and
Cracking
over.
shot. That's a 6-over point. Interestingly, though, there was a fielder in place, so James did have a plan.
Absolutely, yeah.
5 yards, had it landed 5 yards inside, could have probably been caught by the fielder at the backward point. But still, an incredible shot. 6 runs.
Once again shows Rohan's sense of timing. Short and outside the off stump, was there to be hit, but he got a great connection there. It went sailing over the fielder on the point boundary for 6.
Well bowled.
All of a sudden, that 6 releasing the pressure on the Crimson's batting.
Just a little. Just a little. There's a lot of catching up. They should, I mean, even if we go by the run rate that's expected of them, they probably need to be somewhere around 32 at the end of this over. So yeah, they're not far from it, but the Crescents will look to keep it tight and hopefully get in another wicket or 2, and then the cat would be amongst the pigeons, as they would say.
Batsman's Param. It's James Cox from the far end. Shot, getting a bit of lift again. It's hitting the wicketkeeper's gloves hard. It's James Cox. Good part was that was a dot ball. 3.4 overs gone. 22 for 1. The Crimsons. Both the batsmen have had a bit of time to get their eye in, size up the bowlers, and these guys should now be looking to build on a partnership. To get them as close as possible to the target. It has all the makings of a of a very good cricket match.
There
As
seem
of
to
now.
be about 3 or 4 captains on the field. I mean, it's just about everyone giving an instruction. The bowler just wants to get on with it. Well bowled, slow one. That must have been a very good shout, unless it was off the bat. Yes, no signal from the umpire.
I thought he got a bat to it.
Inside edge. Really well bowled.
Again, important that the new ball bowlers make the batsman play as many balls as possible. A classic example of bang on the target, well pitched up, and had the batsman a little bit of a bother there. And he got away just because he got a bit of batter to it. That's Rohan, almighty heave. Misses contact. What's going on in his head? 23 for 104.
I'm not sure what's going on in his head, but that ball's traveling. That was past him before he could think of doing anything to it. And that's the element of surprise that James Cox has in his run-up. I mean, it's such an unassuming amble to the wicket, and then all of a sudden there's this slingshot action. This is the slower ball.
Good deception there.
And there's very little he gives away from his action, right? It's pretty much the same movement which delivers these incredible results.
Yeah.
And Amjad's a bit like that as well, just that he's a little more conventional in his action, but James is very unconventional.
That's the first change for you, Ghulam Murtaza from the Balestier Road end. Right arm, medium pace, and taking strike will be Rohan, who's showing some signs of impatience now. Maybe it's something's going on in their minds. Maybe it's the run rate. It's 22 or 4, and these guys are looking to get a move on and trying to get some connection. Rohan's had one very good 6 over point, but other than that, it's largely been dabs here and there for 1s and 2s. And it's going to be interesting to see how he shapes up against the new bowler.
One of the few quicks we have here from Pakistan, if I'm correct, Ghulam Murtaza. I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Slight of build is Ghulam Murtaza, but there have been some great fast bowlers who don't really have the build, but the run-up, the action, the rhythm generates the pace for them. Here he goes, quick run-up, short. The batsman has hit the ball to the right of point and gone through for 1.
They've all been very impressive so far, except for that one wide ball that Amjad bowled as his first ball. They've been fairly accurate. They've kept things tight. They haven't allowed the batsman to get away, and so far, I reckon the Crescents have their noses ahead in the contest. But it's a T20 game, changes very quickly. 2 bad overs, 30 runs, and you're back in the game.
That's a quick run, could be tight if he hits directly, but he misses, and Rohan is quick enough to turn back for the second. That was close.
That was Anant Krishna. Not the fastest on the field.
Direct hit there would have been mighty close for the batsman. And that would have been the wicket, the prized wicket of Rohan Rangarajan. I thought the fielder had a good side of all 3 stumps, but it happens all the time.
It's a bit of a tough one, this run-up that we have. There's this patch which is dry, and I wonder if it slows some of the bowlers down in their stride. There's not enough grass on the square, and you almost get a feeling that bowlers may almost get a little stuck as they come up to the final approach of their bowling.
And it also sometimes preys on their mind when they see that it could
Yeah, it's just
possibly be a
that
slippery
much
turf.
harder.
Yeah.
You know, with spikes, it's sandy. There's that push, especially at the pavilion end, and which kind of probably affects the momentum that they're trying to build in their run-up. But don't see it slowing him down too much. That should go all the way. Top edge for 4.
I was just about to say that, Zubin. Murtaza is pitching the ball just short of a length, getting it to rise a little bit. I was just about to say that you could see some big edges flying here and there. And that just...
No, it's gone for 6.
It's gone all
the way. It is a short boundary.
It's gone all the way.
It is a short boundary, but that's a bit of a testament to the pace of the ball, because it was a top edge and it went all the way for 6. He's upset, but that's very often the price you pay in T20 cricket for bowling the short ball. That top edge is always on.
Always on, and the bat's edges these days are almost like the middle of the bat. Oh, that's nicely bowled and nicely played as well. Eased
very
into the
well
cap.
played.
Beautifully
Eased
played.
it through point. Good work by James Cox.
And they're back for
Good running.
3.
They've run 3.
Yeah.
Excellent running. That's probably the first 3 we've seen today, given the size of the ground.
I think so.
We haven't seen that many. We haven't seen any, in fact, and that's the first one. Good running.
The bowler overcompensating a little bit after pitching the last one shot. The batsman
Bowling
sensing
it
that.
up and wide,
Yeah.
really.
Just leaned
allowing
into
the
it.
batsman to lean into it.
Oh, that's on the leg stump. Lucky to get away with that was Murtaza. The batsmen do get a single, and it's 37 for 1 at the end of the 5th over.
It's not a bad over. 13 runs from it. They were 23 at the end of the 14 runs from it. They were 23 at the end of 4, and good over from the batting side's perspective, albeit a top edge for 6. But that's where pace can be helpful.
Exactly.
And you really have to make sure you don't lose focus on the line. We've seen some fast bowlers go for a lot of runs, even at the international level. I don't think the pace really gets to anyone
Not
anymore.
Yeah. Especially with the restrictions on the short ball and the
Yeah,
fielding
I
restrictions.
just think you look at players like Chris Gayle and Brendan McCullum and the likes of them and what they've done for fast bowling. They've absolutely destroyed it on the day. You've seen guys like Sean Tate who bowled really quick, but struggle to contain.
Yeah, short boundaries, big bats, field restrictions.
Well bowled.
So the,
It's been very impressive, James Cox.
yeah,
Very impressive.
the Crimsons are now staring at 135 or 15 overs to win. That's a run rate of what? About 9 and over from here.
It is.
So quite
Exactly
a game,
9.
quite a game on our hands now.
They continue like this, they'll be staring at a lot more.
Oh, that was well
Now,
bowled.
I think that's going down the leg side.
Yep.
Oh,
That looks
oh,
out. That looks out to me.
Oh, they had the umpire distracted
Exactly.
on the LBW. I don't know if he got a good look at that run out.
I thought he was really struggling to get in. It was a direct hit.
I don't think the LBW was on. It was just, he bowls from wide of the wicket and it probably was going down leg
Down the
side.
leg side for sure.
But that run out was close. That was really close.
I don't think the batsman expected that to hit the stumps direct. Lucky to get away with it.
These two make a good pair, Amjad and James Cox. They've done a great job between them. James now in his 3rd over.
Well bowled again. At least
That's very well played.
Yeah.
But good field placement. He's always had the backward point from the very beginning. He's really bowled to his field. He's backed his bowling with the right men in the right positions. And if you, again, if you look at the one ball from Murtaza that went for 6, which is a top edge really, they've bowled pretty well.
Decent stuff, yeah.
To contain the Crimsons so far.
Well bowled, very
Well
well
bowled
bowled.
again.
And you said it, Zubin, I think he's bowling to his field. He's pitching it up. He's got a man back at long on.
He's got a plan.
Yeah.
He's thinking his bowling through, and he's got a plan almost every ball.
James Cox is none for 17 of 2.4.
Naveen's looking good, 25 of 19. He'll have to tell himself to bat to the end, or at least till over 15, to give his side a chance.
Big gaps on the offside for the batsman. If he gets one through that cordon on the offside, there are runs to be had. Cox can't afford to bowl anywhere.
But that's where
that
James has been
area.
really good. He hasn't given that room. So
Yeah.
you make your gap at your own peril. You know, he's invited the batsman to try things like that particular shot without much effect. Very impressive.
Batsman trying the scoop shot, slightly premeditated. Had no real chance of connecting that one. But that's clobbered over mid-wicket. And
He
that
has
should go.
connected that. It's gone to the longest part of the ground. That's definitely the longest boundary.
Easily.
Almost 75 or 80 yards, probably that side. Still managed to get 4 runs.
So these guys have got a partnership going. It's 44. These two have added. And Naveen Param's looking good. Rohan's looked good in parts. He's played a couple of very handsome shots.
Was that Rohan who played that shot? Or Naveen?
That is Rohan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So both have their eye in. We are into over number 6. The Crimsons are 47 for 1. It's over to Jamal.
Thank you, Mohan. Evening, Zubs. It's looking like it's going to be a great game of cricket going down to the
It
wire.
is looking interesting, absolutely. If these two can keep batting till the 12th or the 14th over, and probably get to about 100, then they're in business.
Yes, if they do keep wickets in hand and they are keeping a close tab on the required run rate, and now these two seems to be with their eye in, taking some calculated risks as well, and playing just the way the doctor ordered for the Crimsons. They are a dangerous side. Karthik Subramaniam marks his run up at the Balestier Road end.
Who does Karthik play for in the local
He plays for IA.
IA? The Indian Association, for those not familiar with Singapore cricket and watching. This will be interesting. Oh, that was close. That was so close.
I think Rohan
Rohan was caught napping.
has been living dangerously in the past 2 overs. One
He
very
wasn't
close.
expecting that, was he?
Yeah, one very close run out the previous over, and this time, had Roger Mukasa hit the stumps, it would have been good night. Now the Stars, let's see how they play this. They seem to be focusing on their seam bowlers and their faster men. That's a magnificent shot. Down on one knee.
Naveen's been wanting to play that shot. He tried that with James Cox as well, and
That was a very good
Karthik
shot.
is about 20 Ks slower than James Cox, so that kind of came off.
Still, it was a very calculated shot because
It was,
the fine leg
yes.
was up in the circle, and even the risk that has been taken by these two young batsmen seems to be very intelligent cricket.
He's been eyeing that part of the ground, so, and it is the shorter boundary on either side, so makes great sense if you can pull it off.
And with Karthik being the gentler of the pace bowlers, they might target him.
Well bowled.
So I realized when the faster men were on, both James Cox and Ghulam Mortaza, almost every ball there was a field change and something being whispered in their ear. Sometimes as a bowler that can be a bit upsetting.
Yes and no, Chama. I think at times the bowlers almost do it to distract the batsman. I think they have a core set of fielders in place, probably 7 out of the 9 or 8 out of the 9, and they tend to be a little fidgety with the remaining 1 or 2, just to keep the batsman guessing. It's always I think it's a bit of poker play almost, mind games, if you may.
That's a good shot once again. Pumped
Going to the
over.
cover boundary. Oh, well done. Well fielded. Well fielded. Murtaza? Was it Murtaza to
Ghulam Mortaza there doing the tag
To
team
Aritra.
effort. Yes, I've been very impressed with this young man, Ghulam Mortaza. Natural athlete, great pace. And normally, if he's bowling and you're the captain, and if you give him the ball, I'd rather leave the man alone.
Sure.
He's from a test playing country, he's an experienced bowler. I'm sure he knows what his role is in the side.
I think the part any captain could probably play with someone like Murtaza is give inputs, if any, on the batsman, and that's about that. I think bowlers generally tend to know the field they want or what they want to do. That's a lovely shot. It's a terrific shot through covers. He's clubbed that for 4.
And now it's a reversal because Rohan Rangaraj is being bowled to by Karthik Subramaniam. They shared a 200-run partnership. So each other both in good form with the bat, know the other's game. But that was a magnificent shot. Through the covers, he's hitting the gaps. He's looking dangerous.
Well, at his pace, Karthik will have to be really on the money because he's slightly over medium pace, and it's just about medium pace. And if he doesn't get it right, then it can prove to be expensive.
Looks like Ishan Swane, left arm orthodox bowler. Another very young, impressive bowler that I've seen in this EPS. I think the Crimsons experimented by promoting Chetan to open the batting and changing the regular combination of Karabo Motlanka and Rohan Rangaraj. That didn't pay off, so they've given Naveen Param the promotion. And it seemed to be working here. These two youngsters really putting in a valuable partnership for their team.
And it augurs well, obviously, because, if you can, as a captain, if you can build those choices for yourself, then you're in a good place. Ishan Sani is somebody I've been looking forward to see because I've seen him in a couple of the age group games. He's impressed me as a batsman. He's, even though it's not been, even though I've not seen him play a lot, he's looked good with the bat, and he's a young lad. He's under 16 still, and again a good sign to see him play. These boys are going to go out there and play the under-19s very soon, and this is going to help them. They're going to rub shoulders with some very, very experienced players. That's a good shot. Good use of the feet. Long hit, despite the small ground. That's a very good hit.
I'm very impressed by young Rohan Rangaraj. Not only does he rotate the strike run very hard between the wickets. But when the ball is in those areas, he is more than capable of dispatching them a long way. I had the opportunity to speak to his parents in the comm box the other day, two very proud parents, and why not? He's been batting beautifully throughout this entire competition in both the 50 over leg and the T20 leg. He seems to be hitting a purple patch here. And I'm sure there's a few words of encouragement and strategy being shared with those drinks. Arjun Menon, the coach of the Crimsons, he must be happy with this going. He seems to have preferred the left arm orthodox choice as opposed to the leg spinner, both taking the ball away from the two right-handers.
Shot. That's excellent running. It's been a feature of the batting. They've run very well between the wickets. They put pressure on the fielders and pushed them hard. They picked a 3 earlier and 2 now. That was Ariman Nochul, I think, on the boundary, who fielded that. He's got a good arm. They'll probably go for 4.
Shot.
That's a very good shot. Brilliant shot through covers for 4.
I think what Rohan Rangaraj has done with that lofted 6, he's got Sone to bowl a bit shorter.
That's inexperience.
Yes.
That's Sani's inexperience coming in.
And
someone's got to talk to him.
Now he's being made to pay, and that's exactly what the captain is doing, telling him, young man, listen, this is the field you got to stick to that plan. Having said that, Rohan Rangaraj is like the Energizer bunny between the wickets.
Should have caught that. He should have caught that.
Tell you what, he's lucky to have his thumb still attached to his left hand. That was hit ferociously, but the young man's disappointed not having caught that.
I don't know, Chama, I still think like a captain. Should have caught that. You know, the thumb breaks, it breaks. You wear these badges once you play cricket for a very, very long time. Nose, thumb, fingers, 4 screws in the ring finger on the right hand.
Crimson 76 for the loss of 1 wicket at the end of 8 overs. Sailing along at the moment with good bit of batting to come. Yes, I mean, injuries are sort of like the medals we cricketers carry around.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Also makes for some fond stories around the table.
I'm reminded of one of my captain, Kiran Deshpande. He captained Singapore many years ago, and he broke the ring finger on his left hand. And so he holds the dubious record of being out for a duck caught without facing. I mean, it's something that happened, and he injured himself, and he ended up coming to this ceremony, Bruce Yardley's farewell, and I remember him having a plaster on both his ring fingers, and we asked him what had happened. I mean, he'd only been injured on one. Went for the surgery.
Ananta Krishna, first ball,
1 run.
Pumped to long on.
He's probably kicking himself for not putting that away, Rohan. Short ball. So Kiran turns up at this ceremony, and he's got a plaster on both his ring fingers, and we ask him what's happened, and he says, well, I went in for the surgery, and then the doctor remembered he'd put screws in my left ring finger the last time I'd gone for a surgery to take those out, and now I have a plaster on both fingers. You know, so which was obviously there was a great picture I have somewhere of him putting his two hands up with plaster in either hand.
Tell you what, this is very intelligent batting between these two youngsters. 75 runs the partnership of 47 deliveries.
They're milking it. They're milking it now. Smart batting.
Once again, full toss, placed to deep mid-wicket.
This is where I think the bowling side needs to do something different. They need to bring a few fielders in, because otherwise it's just more of the same and you're kind of going through the motions. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot, straight down the ground.
That was a magnificent shot, just danced down the wicket. There they are, the parents of young Rohan Rangaraj, watching eagerly. Happy group there, supporting the Crimsons. Ananta Krishna. Once again played away into the vacant square leg region. Yes, I also felt that the Crescents quick men missed a trick. They were trying to bowl fast and short and in an intimidating fashion rather than trying to take wickets with the new ball. And that sort of helped the Crimsons, even having lost Chetan's wicket, to sort of settle in.
I do think, however, they bowled...
That's another beautiful shot.
That really should have been fielded by the bowler. Sloppy from the bowler in the follow-through. Should have fielded that, saved 4 runs. But 90 for 1 at the end of 9.
Yes, these two batsmen are slowly but surely making this target look an easy chase, but it's never easy in cricket. Still quite a bit of chasing to do. Let's see how it goes.
73 of the next 11. They have their work cut out. Otherwise, this game could be over by the 16th over.
Yes, a couple of wickets unless they fall quickly. I don't think that these two batsmen are the type to throw away their wickets. Both of them put a high price on their wicket and are actually very intelligent young cricketers. I'm really impressed by the way they are going about this chase. And it looks like Ghulam Mortaza is being brought back into the attack from the Serangoon Road end. He's had a change of ends.
Well, I was talking about how the sand at in this run-up, you could see his run-up was not fluid, and I have a feeling he's changed ends because of that, because there's a lot more grass on the other side, which will allow him to really build some throttle as he comes into the wickets. The pavilion end was really, the balestier was, there's a lot of loose sand around the wicket. If you're the kind who's really running through, then it could slow you down. Now.
Yes, and I was also having a chat and over here hearing Sadbhai say he was running very fast in his run-up, and that sort of hampered him in his gather and his flow through the crease, and almost the body mechanics putting him in an unnatural position.
Yep. Well, you've got to build momentum, right? I remember Shoaib Akhtar saying this. He said, this is like a runway where the plane
Takes off.
He said,
geez, didn't he have a long run-up?
yes. White down leg.
This is one thing the Crescents quick men have been guilty of. They have not really been threatening the stumps, and they've been a touch on the short side for my liking. I remember Shoaib Akhtar bowling to Ricky Ponting at the Pisara Oval when they played the neutral venue test in Sri Lanka. And that was a sight.
Shoaib Akhtar was a sight. He was. if his run-up was not fast enough to take off, it's when he took the wicket and he spread his arms and he started running. That's when you thought he'd really take off. You know, it's just
glided.
what a sight. I think it was his spell at Melbourne, if I'm correct. Can't remember where, but he was in full song where he took a fifer bowling for Pakistan. He obviously loved bowling in Australia. Any fast bowler does.
I think that was the Adelaide Oval.
Was it Adelaide Oval? Yes.
And what was special about this match that I saw at the Pisara was when Shoaib Akhtar was brought in, Ricky Ponting was still wearing the baggy green. And I'll tell you after this delivery.
That is quick.
Yes, that is
That is
extremely quick.
And they need a few of those overs. I think Murtaza's walked up to the batsman and probably asked him to try playing the ball the next time round.
Yes, I think he would have invited him for a cup of tea after the game. Naveen Param having none of that, keeping his concentration, doing the right thing, walking towards the leg umpire. Yes, and the very first ball, Shoaib Akhtar dug in and Ricky Ponting played a hook shot and that ball landed in the canal outside the Pisara Oval. But the next thing he did was immediately signal for his helmet.
It was more evasive action, a defensive
Absolutely.
shot probably. Swat the ball away from his face. Oh, well bowled.
Ghulam Murtaza's
Good over this.
going around the wicket. There seems to be a deliberate strategic ploy. I think at his pace, if he bowls it wicket to wicket, he'd increase his chances of getting either a bowled or an LPW.
Yeah, but not round the wicket though. Not round the wicket. He'll have to come back over the wicket if he wants to bring any of those. This is again, like I said, this is a ploy to contain the run rate, and I don't think that'll win the game. That's a white ball. It's got to be a white ball. Yep.
This is exactly what I was talking about a bit before. This type of short pitch bowling, or in the olden days what we used to call bumpers, they'll be effective if you are able to set up the batsman and the follow-up deliveries are making sense. But right now, the Crescents are just giving it away.
Shot. Clipped off the pads, but there's a fielder at deep square leg.
James Cox doing the tidying up there. Brings Rohan Rangaraj back on strike.
I'd like to see Murtaza go over the wickets and like I said, bring in a few fielders, let the batsman go over the top, take a risk, because otherwise this game's not going anywhere. They'll be happy to play him off for 3 or 4 runs and then make runs of the other bowlers, but good over in context, yes, 4 runs from it, but they're so far ahead at the moment in run rate, I don't think they'd worry about it.
Yes, I think the way these 2 young batsmen have played, they have calmed the nerves in the changing room, and they've brought this chase and the required run rate well under control. Right now it's 69 runs required from 60 balls, and I couldn't agree with you more, Zui. If they continue at this rate, it'll be an early finish. The Crescents need wickets.
Absolutely. They need to take a few risks. They need to take a few risks and get the batting side to take a few risks. I have a feeling James Cox is the man to do it. Hopefully.
I think
he's thinking about it.
Feeling is shared by the captain, Manpreet Singh. He comes on to bowl as we speak from the Balestier Road end. I was very impressive with the pace he was hitting in his first spell coming from the Serangoon Road end.
We were talking about how he reminded us of Sohail Tanvir, the Pakistani left-arm fast bowler.
Bowls off the wrong foot.
That could be out. That could be out. Oh my God. Oh.
Rohan Rangaraj
Someone should have caught that.
was living dangerously, but I think that was the fine legs catch.
It was. Yes, I agree.
He was coming forward, he should have called it early, and luckily they avoid a collision. Could have been really dangerous, but he should have gone for it. That was the opportunity created. And in T20 cricket, or in any cricket these days, you need to take those half chances.
Yes. I think the keeper put him off. The way the keeper was running for that, it kind of put him off and kind of stopped at his tracks. But
This is good heat being generated by James Cox, but unfortunately, it is not threatening.
the thing with that ball is that takes an edge, it's going to go for 6. You know, it's somehow that's not going to be the wicket-taking ball. The wicket-taking ball is probably going to be something that's pitched up, that compels the batsman to either go over the top or hit across the line. And we haven't seen enough of that. We've seen good line and length. They had a good start the first 4 or 5 overs. And even now, both Murtaza and James Cox are happy containing. But although James would disagree with me and say he created a chance, the first ball, that's the one I'm talking about. He's got to get further up on the stumps and give himself a chance.
And this ball is still only 10 overs old, and there's a fair bit left on both the seam and in terms of shine. And as you correctly said, and as we saw there, once it's pitched up, it does move and do a little bit under lights, and would increase their chances of getting wickets, what is exactly what they need right now.
Oh, that's gone. That's gone. That's gone. Poor running. Poor
Yes.
running.
Rohan Rangaraj living dangerously, lives by the sword, he dies by the sword. I think he did not judge that second run too well.
It was it wide of the fielder? I don't think it was that wide of the fielder. He really took on the arm and he's paid the price.
Absolutely.
How many times do we see a game turn on a run out?
This could be that moment where the Crescents get that opportunity to regroup and really put some pressure. But he's played a great innings. Unfortunately, perishes due to that judgment of a non-existent second. So it's 67 required or 57.
Yeah, it was a straightforward. It was
And Charles
and a
Weiswa.
great take by Manpreet. Terrific in front of the stumps. Really well taken.
Yes, the Ugandan international Charles Weiswa has a bullet arm. It went straight to his left hand. And being a left-hander, he sent it right alongside the stumps. Manpreet Singh did the rest.
Very good fielding side, Uganda. They really got rated in the WCL as a fielding side, and we could see why.
The stand-in captain, Karabo Motlanka, comes in. He's also the captain of Botswana. Calm, composed, left-hand batsman. I think now this is right in his zone, where the required run rate is not asking him to go hell for leather. He can work the ones and twos, with Naveen Param playing a solid hand at the other end. Crimsons should be looking to finish this off intelligently, but the Crescents have been given a slight look in.
They have been, and like I said, how many games have we seen turn on a run out? Could this be that moment? We'll find out. Oh yes. Oh yes.
He's got him first ball.
This is the turning point of the game.
That was a very good delivery. It was on to Karabo Motlanka before he realized.
And I did think James Cox was going to be the man to turn the game, and he's pretty much done that. What an over this is turning out to be.
He created the opportunity with the very first ball, and then that run out, and now he's bowled another Jaffa to get rid of the Crimson's captain. First up, an excellent catch there by Manpreet Singh. That was travelling. It knocked him off, but the important thing, he held on to the catch. The Crescents have regrouped.
There's no way you can have proper technique taking that catch. That is such reflex. There's no way he was going to go behind the ball. He has literally nabbed it from thin air.
Absolutely. Great reflexes, great hands with the give, because that ball was travelling.
And that's Manpreet for you. He has the flair of a good cricketer, and he shows it from time to time, especially the fielding. Especially, I've seen him take some blinders.
Yes, I've played against him. He's a bullet fielder in the covers as well, and with the gloves, he's equally up to the task. Kenneth Weiswer marches into the middle. The Crimsons will be looking for an innings from him.
Oh, well bowled.
James Cox really doing the job for his team and captain here. You called it, Zubi. He could be the man that's going to change things for the Crescents.
He just gives you the impression of someone who's in the game, and credit to Murtaza as well. The previous over went for 4 runs. This has gone for 3. Cricket is so much a game about momentum, and you can almost feel momentum shift in a game. You see what's been happening. I don't know if this is the best move at this stage, but and maybe it's Anand Krishna's time to show what he can do.
Yes, the captain seems to be going to his leg spinner. He's a wicket taker.
He is, yes, I agree.
Even though he's a bit expensive at times, he's definitely a wicket taker. And if the Crescents manage to nab 1 or 2 wickets here, they'll be in real business. The Crimsons need to understand where this game is at, and they can afford to take 1 or 2 overs to knock it around and take the game deeper. This is developing to be a really exciting game.
This will be interesting. Oh, that has to be very close. Yes, it is.
Straight away,
It is.
Ananta Krishna delivers.
That is out.
That is plumb.
That is out. Sorry, I'm giving it.
Kenneth Weiswer didn't know much about that.
He played for turn, and it didn't. Held its line, well bowled. It was the drift that I think did him, the length.
Is Kenneth more a bowling all-rounder? And I was wondering whether it was a tactical move with his promotion to go after the bowling a bit, but he didn't look like he was going to do anything drastic. Played that ball, missed it altogether.
That is out.
That is
That is out.
absolutely plumb.
Great comeback.
Great appeal too.
Back in business.
I tell you, he would have been disappointed had the ump not given that one out. I would be disappointed.
Well.
Manoj Kumar Yadav, another big hitting right-handed batsman. I think they need to understand, they need to bat with Naveen Param now. Naveen Param needs to have a chat to his partner.
I don't know, Chama. I think the Crescents are right back in this game. That's 3 wickets of the last 3 overs.
Yes.
And they haven't really added any runs.
And all of a sudden, the required run rate started to take off.
Still very manageable, but it's the situation. What's at the back of your mind? And I think that's what's going to play on the minds of the batsmen. You know, there's going to be a few scrambles, there's going to be a few, maybe another run out, a bad call, a slip, a fall, something. Anything can happen.
This will be a real test for young Naveen Param. Can he pull this innings through? Can he get the other batsmen to bat around him? Can he deliver this game for the Crimsons?
And this is the experience we look for in the EPS, right? I mean, you think of the situations in the WCL, we were talking about it some time back, where we lost key moments. We didn't necessarily lose a match as much as we lost moments and opportunities. And this is where a player goes from being a good player to, or an average player to a good player. I won't say great because great is very far away, but being average to being a match winner is about seizing those opportunities and those moments. This is a great opportunity for Naveen Param. Wide. I actually like this this line and length. I just like the look of Anand Krishna when he's bowling like this. I have a feeling that when he tries to, he's a big guy and sometimes he tries to give it too much air. And maybe, you know, if he sees a lot of videos of Anil Kumble, for example, who was kind of similar in height and build, then he'd probably get some idea. Is that dropped?
Manoj Kumar Yadav pumps that one into the side screen at the Serangoon Road end. Ananta giving it a little bit of flight.
And this is what I mean by trying to give it air. I don't know, thinking like a batsman, I just think he makes it easy with his height if he starts to give it too much air. He's really got to, he's the kind of bowler who will get so much success.
Bowling it into the turf.
Bowling it into the turf and getting deviations off it. That line.
It's a much better delivery.
That length, rather.
And also to the new man, before he gets set, I would like to see a slip in with the leg spinner. Right now, when you have gotten 2 wickets on the trot.
I'd actually, yeah, and in addition to that, maybe have one of the two straight fielders up at mid-off maybe, or mid-on, and force the batsman to go over them. And that's where he needs to push it through the air.
Yes, apart from the 6, I think that was a very good over. He was brought in to do a job by the captain.
And he has.
And he did it straight away. And I was also really happy with the way he batted today. His team was in a spot of bother. He went out there and he showed that he's no mug with the bat. He bashed the Crimsons' bowling attack to all parts of the ground. So he'll be taking that confidence in as well when he's bowling.
Absolutely. And the wicket helps.
And as you can see, the Crescents, they really managed to pluck 3 wickets for the addition of only 1 run between 96 and 97. Right now, at the end of 12 overs, the Crimsons are 106 for the loss of 4 wickets. Charles Weisfer, left arm medium pacer, marks out his run up at the Balestier Road end. So very accurate bowler, has great changes in pace. He bowls a little leg cutter and off cutter as well, runs his fingers over. I had the opportunity to have a little chat with him, and he believes on this type of surfaces and wickets, bowled wicket to wicket.
He opened the batting as well. Roger Bukasa, sorry. Well bowled. Saw the batsman coming, pitched it short.
And gave no room. This has been the MO of Charles Weisfer. keeps the lines very tight, doesn't give any room for the batsman to free their arms, nor does he provide too many drive balls. A very experienced cricketer. And a great chap off the park as well. Amjad there.
Single to square leg.
Does the tidying up.
So it's these overs with 3 and 4 runs that are slowly mounting the pressure, and then when you keep losing a wicket here and there, and before you know it, the game's really slipped out of hand. All started with that run out.
Yes, I think Navin Param is the key here.
Oh, he would have been gone for all money.
I don't know what was going through Manoj Kumar Yadav's head when he set off for that single.
Unbelievable run that.
He was gone by miles had Roger Mukasa hit. He was not even in the frame.
Take a look at that. He was gone. He was gone. Charles did well to stand his ground, which made it difficult for Manoj Kumar Yadav, but...
And those are the other subtleties when you play cricket at a higher level of competition. The little nuances that these youngsters will pick up, you know.
Yep.
It's not just about batting and bowling anymore. It's all those little tussles for advantage.
Yep, absolutely. I'm not giving you room, you go around me. It's something I always used to talk about with team members about, well bowled, or somebody pick the ball up.
I think it's really key that the Crescents men in the 30 stay awake, not allow these easy singles to be scampered through.
Lovely character, James Cox, in the field. He's out there, he's pepping everyone up. To what I was saying earlier, it was very important to play hard but fair. It was fine with me if you didn't have too many niceties on the ground, but never giving an inch really. Miss hit. A good over so far. He's given what, 6 runs in that over?
Yes.
We're getting to the business end of this chase. They still need another 52, 53 of the remaining 7 overs, and it will be interesting. That'll be close to 8 and over.
42 balls remaining to get that 53. I think if Navin Param is at the crease, the Crimsons would be counting their chances. For the Crescents, it's paramount that they get rid of him. And at the same time, I think Manoj Kumar Yadav is the type of batsman that he can connect a few. And that deficit between runs required and balls remaining will narrow if he's there.
Well bowled. Did that hit the stumps?
That trickled down after hitting his thigh pad.
And the bails didn't come off. Or maybe Manpreet dislodged them before.
This is a much better pace Ananta is bowling.
Yes.
One.
Well bowled. Saw him coming.
Bludgeoned away to long on. And that's the way Manoj Kumar Yadav bats. Smart bit of bowling. Saw the batsman advancing. Threw it a bit wider and faster. Right, this party is about to start now.
Well bowled.
Manoj Kumar Yadav needs to be careful not to get run out at the non-striker's end. Adjustments being made to the field.
Gone.
That's the wicket they were
Gone.
looking
That's
for.
the wicket they wanted. That is the wicket they wanted. Good captaincy by Manpreet. And again, that's the line and length. He's pushing it through. He's not giving it a lot of air. Turning it from leg and middle. Well bowled. Excellent bowling.
That was a very good delivery. He bowled it in the blind spot and to dislodge the set batsman. But Naveen Param will be disappointed with the shot he played. A very good bit of bowling.
Very well bowled. He beat him in length there, and an easy catch.
Raja Mukasa, he's not going to drop those. Safe as a bank. That brings Prashin Param, who's also been in good form in this tournament. Had a half century in his last outing. Not out.
They're keeping it in the family, you're saying. It's a good form.
Absolutely. But today he seems to have come in one slot beneath his younger brother, Naveen. Now, let's see how he embarks on these innings, because usually he's the type of player who will take a few deliveries to knock it around. And that might give the Crescents the opportunity to bowl a few dot balls.
Always helps to have a new batsman at the crease. Always. And this might be the opportunity for the Crescents to really tighten the screws a little more. Well bowled. Quick through the air, and
this is very intelligent bowling. I'm really pleased with the way he's going about his work today.
That could be a run out. No.
Oh, that was
Bad
an
throw.
Opportunity missed.
Bad
Yes.
throw.
Not the best of throws.
Murtaza, was it?
Ghulam
At
Murtaza,
covers.
that
Yeah.
short cover. At the end of 14 overs, the Crimsons 112 for the loss of 5.
So they were 90. Were they 90, 94 at the 10 over mark? I think 90. And they've added about 12 runs, if I'm correct, in the last 4 overs. So
And lost
the
4
Crescents
wickets.
have really, and they've lost the 4 wickets. The Crescents have really come back in this game.
And 51 off the last 6 overs. In the modern game, they should be backing themselves, the Crimsons. But the Crescents, with the firepower left, with their bowling options, they should be feeling that they are in control of this game.
I think they've got 2 from Amjad, if I'm correct, and maybe 1 from James Cox as well. James Cox is finished? Okay.
Ghulam Murtaza, 1 or 2?
Murtaza has 2 and Amjad has 2. That's some firepower left. Oh, lucky.
This is very intelligent field placement by Manpreet.
Excellent field placing by Manpreet. He really had that third man straight. He's expecting the edge almost.
Almost a fly slip there. These are the bowling options remaining for the Crescents. 2 overs for Amjad Mehmoob. Ghulam Murtaza with 2 remaining. Kartik Subramaniam. And Charles Weiswer as well. And Ananta Krishna, he might be given his last over as well, the way he's been going. That's a very good shot. Finds the boundary, Prashin Param. Doing
That's
this.
the 4 that shouldn't have been probably compared to the edge of the previous ball. Either way, it's 4 handy runs.
Yes, and he delayed his shot, played it a bit late, make sure he got it in the gap, and the quick IA outfield does the rest. Intelligent cricket.
I still like the way Manpreet is approaching this, not chasing the ball, but he's kind of got a sense of where the bowler is feeling comfortable. There's only 3 on the onside now. Really?
Now young Ishan
on the
Sone
boundary.
donating 4 runs to the Crimson's cause. The Crescents would not be too pleased with that. The youngster, he will learn from this.
Very unfortunate. Ishan Sani.
A very good
Under
fielder,
pressure.
normally. Very good fielder, but this time took his eye off the ball under pressure, as you said. Could this be the momentum swing once again? Now there's been a slip, a wide second slip being employed.
I wonder if that'll go down to James Cox this time for a catch. It'll be interesting to see. Clipped off the hips, 1 run.
This is smart batting. And really that additional boundary that was gifted took the pressure off the batting side and also allows Prasheen Param to build some confidence and get his innings on the way. He's 9 from 6 already, 9 from 5 rather. 10 runs already off this over with 2 balls remaining. Let's see whether Manoj Kumar Yadav can pump one out of the Indian Association grounds. Bang.
He heard you.
Sends one deep to
Good
deep
field
wicket.
placings though.
Yes.
He's got the fields. And Manpreet has generally got the fields right. It's been more a case of boundary balls than bad field placing. The way I'm impressed with the way he's managed the troops, especially given that they'd gotten away in the first 10 and he's got the side back and they're still in with a chance if they can pick a wicket or 2.
And it's also interesting to see where he's standing right now. Once again,
Single.
Clipped away to deep mid wicket off the pads. He's cutting off that angle and he's using himself as a fielder almost. And he's been very proactive and also being
Very proactive, yes.
doing some excellent bowling changes, always trying to get a wicket, get on top. And as we speak, it looks like he's going to go to his ace quick man, Ghulam Mortaza, from the Serangoon Road end.
This is going to be a decisive over. Almost get the sense if he can get it full and up there at his pace, you feel something could happen.
Yes, these are the bowling options once again. With Ghulam Mortaza having 2 overs, he might quite well bowl the 16th and the 18th, and then Amjad might bowl the 17th and the 20th, and in between Manpreet has many choices if the game does go that low.
I think the game will be decided in the next 4 possibly if he could get Murtaza and Amjad to bowl 2 each and do a good job at it.
Yes, I think you shouldn't leave it to the last over, whether you're defending or whether you're chasing.
Unless it's a really, really low score, but they should really look to tighten the screws here.
Right, the boundary riders are at long on, deep square leg, third man and fine leg, and a sweeper cover.
Bad start.
Yes, that's a poor delivery.
That's a poor delivery. And again, I don't understand this business of going around the stumps.
Fast bowlers have a mind of their own, they tell me.
I won't comment on that.
Sometimes it gives captains nightmares, other times great deal of pleasure. The bots.
Changed his mind.
Prashin Paramtu opening up his stance, looking to bring a few areas of the ground into play, maybe looking to play it backward of point. There's a vast open area there if he beats the solitary fielder or deep mid wicket.
Well bowled. James Cox, the live wire in the ground.
He's been buzzing all night. He told me he was bitten by 6 mosquitoes in all this evening. That seemed to have helped.
They couldn't have taken a lot off him.
Not really.
There's not a lot to take anyways.
I did meet 6 very energetic mosquitoes heading out of the Indian Association ground. They were literally feeding off James Cox's energy. Ghulam Murtaza here turns around at the top of his mark, sprints in.
That is a massive hit. That is the longest boundary. And Manoj Yadav has clobbered that over mid-wicket. That's about 75, 80 yards.
Yes, Manoj Kumar Yadav once again built with those piston-like arms. He gave it the kitchen sink and everything else. That went flying. Great shot. That would ease the nerves. Now the equation is down to a very
What do you think the
manageable-
next ball is going to be?
Well, I think he might need to duck and weave a bit.
Oh, on the money. Predictable.
Yes, Manoj Kumar didn't know much about that.
If anything, he should have been ready with the uppercut or something.
Yes, he seemed to have found himself wobbling to the non-striker's end and makes a polite inquiry from the umpire. Was that one for the over? It's great fun here at the Indian Association. Great cricket under lights. An excellent match going down to the wire. This match is nowhere near over. Both sides still in.
White ball. Disappointing.
Yes, the captain needs to have a word, which is exactly what he's going to do. I'm sure he's going to colourfully paint a scenario to his fast bowler. And our stump mics are not capable of gathering what was said exactly, but I do have an idea.
I think there was a bit of Punjabi there between Manpreet Singh and Ghulam Murtaza.
Absolutely.
Wide again. And this will go on. He can keep bowling round the wickets all day, and this will be the problem.
His action is built for bowling in-swingers to the right-hander. And by coming around the wicket, he's starting the delivery already at leg stump and moving it further away, resulting in a wide. And he's experienced enough to know this.
Well, if you think about it, bowling round the wickets for a really fast bowler, the most unnatural thing is you lose your follow-through, right? You cannot continue in the follow-through that you want to, because you'd otherwise run onto the wickets. So you've got to bowl and get away on the wrong side.
Yeah, this is really turning out to be a very poor over by Ghulam Murtaza. He's now come over the wicket and dished out another wide, and he's gone for 4 down the leg side. Manpreet Singh will be tearing his hair out. That looks a very happy camp. Arjun Menon and his Crescents. Sounds a little bit like Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. They're going to start singing Roll Me Away.
Easy pickings.
Yes. Now that over, what it did was well and truly
Take the pressure off.
take the pressure off and give momentum to the Crimsons.
Back to the Crimsons, absolutely. Disappointing over. Very disappointing.
And that too from your ace strike bowler. Manpreet Singh will be disappointed. However, the game is still on.
You were saying something about fast bowlers having a mind of their own. And we've seen an example of that in this over. Or the lack of it.
Yes, the lack of usage we have seen plenty of in this over. And this partnership has quietly crept up on the Crescents. "30 of 13, decisive." And I haven't seen a single Yorker with his pace.
I agree. I agree. That's the ball that's needed. That's the ball that's needed. He's disappointed, the young man, rightly so. 28 of 3 overs. It's kind of maybe memories of back home. That's how they sometimes hit them back in Pakistan. He's probably not expected that here, and he's going for 9 and 10 on over here as well. So disappointing. The man with the Midas touch.
Yes.
Let's see what he does. Can he do something?
Captain goes to his experienced operator, Amjad Mahbub. He's a crafty operator, great skill, good experience. And
Great attitude.
Yes, and
Great attitude.
more importantly, knows this IA wicket like the back of his hand. Let's see what he can do for the Crescents. They need him to stand up. He's bowled really well, bowled a great, fantastic first spell.
1 for 9 in 2 overs. You know, you thought he'd given them the dream start by getting Chetan Suryavanshi in the first over itself, and yet they've kind of squandered all the good work they did from overs 11 to 14. They've really allowed the Crimsons back in the game. Not just allowed them back in the game, they're probably in the driver's seat now. Very little to do. That's all they've got to do, is push it around, and
Absolutely.
they'll be home and dry.
The required run rate now below 6 runs and over. And if the Crimsons lose it from here, they'll be very disappointed. But then, all the Crescents need is a couple of wickets. This game can once again change.
Well bowled, well played. Good feeling at third man.
Charles Weiswer again employs that bullet left hand, making sure that the batsmen stay down to 1. This is a good over. Amjad seems to be building up towards something. And that's where the Crescent's quick men were lacking. They did not seem to set up the batsmen. They were just employing the short ball haphazardly.
Correct.
Almost a caught and bowled there. Good leg cutter by Amjad.
slow one from Amjad. Shy of the stumps from square leg, but doesn't connect.
Because now it's also important that the fielders in the 30 yards, especially backed up by the sweepers, are cutting those singles.
Well, you'd think everyone should probably be in the 30 yards, except the odd sweeper on either side. And there's nothing left in this game. 17 to get in 18 deliveries after this over. 20 deliveries in total. So,
can Amjad pick a wicket here?
and that's gone for 4. That's about the nail.
I think once again he'll be disappointed with that delivery. It was a nothing ball, halfway down the wicket, going down the leg side. All Manoj Kumar Yadav had to do was get some bat on it. Went past short fine leg for 4.
Well batted, Manoj.
He seemed to have played a little cameo for the Crimsons. But that brilliant partnership between Rohan Rangaraj and Naveen Param really set up this game for them. They managed to ride out the initial hostile but inaccurate fast spell from the Crescents quicks. They made this chase easy now.
Amjad almost tried to scare him out of that single by waving his arms.
Yes,
he wasn't going to get to the ball in any way, was he?
He's an experienced campaigner. He uses all the tricks in the back. Now let's see what Manpreet does. Surely the Crimsons should not lose from here. But I tell you what.
It's 1 over from Ananta Krishna now and going for the jugular, I guess. Hoping they try and finish it in this over and probably lose a wicket or 2.
Ananta has managed to perform with bat and ball, whatever his captain has entrusted him to do. So let's see whether he can do something special here for the Crescents. I for a moment was worried that he was going to bowl fast, but he seemed to have gone to pick up his bowling marker. The last thing that the Crescents need is another fast bowler, bowling right arm over.
True, they haven't had the variety in the spin department, have they? They haven't. If anything, a couple of their fast bowlers have been treated like spinners.
Indeed.
Well bowled.
I still feel if Ananta can get one here, Prasheen Param preferably.
It'll make it exciting.
It'll make it exciting.
I still don't think it'll change the result. Well batted. Good shot.
The 30 yards fielders, they need to be cutting those.
I almost get the sense that the Crescents have given up on the game.
Their body language does seem to
The body
indicate.
language seems to suggest that.
Need to change that field at backward point. Manpreet Singh.
I'm not really sure why Ananta was asking him to hold back on the throw. If anything, they could use the run out. But
yes, they also did not use the services of Roger Mukasa, who's a very deceptive bowler on this type of track. And he bowls really wicket to wicket.
And he didn't bowl at all.
Didn't bowl at all. They seem to go for the firepower with the quicks. The Crimson seem to have managed that rather well. They're doing it easy here.
Ananta was really being hopeful, asking for an LBW on that one. Pitched way outside leg stump.
Yes, very optimistic. Never dies wondering, these youngsters. I tell you what, Manoj Kumar Yadav, he'll be looking to connect one. Punts one down to long off. I wouldn't even mind bringing that long off in and asking him to try and go over the top. At this stage...
Should have happened long back, actually. Should have taken a few risks around the 12 or 13 over mark when they really had, really got them by the scruff, as they say. But
so 44-run partnership, and credit has to go to the Crimsons the way they batted. They batted well in pairs. A great thanks to our sponsors, title sponsors, Mariners, and powered by KTP Exports and Synergy Physiotherapy and Sports, our gold sponsors, all making sure that this Mariners EPS is a great success. What a wonderful platform it has provided. Amjad coming in from the Balestier Road end.
I think the game might finish in this over, pretty much. Like we were talking about not taking it to the last over.
Yes, the Crimsons should look to finish it off in this over.
Manoj Kumar doing part of that already. An educated inside edge to fine leg.
Absolutely.
For 4.
Four runs off the very first ball.
This has turned out to be a really good inning by Manoj Yadav. A little more than a cameo now. It's 33 of 21, and it's been the difference. It's taken the pressure off and put them right where they wanted to be, on top.
Yes, he's huffed and puffed and at times even blown the house down. The massive 6 into the Indo nets. That's a long hit. Yes, we see a lot of teapots around the ground. The Crescents fielders with their hands on their hips. They will be disappointed. That's a magnificent shot. Looks like it's a 6.
Over covers.
Over covers. What a magnificent shot that was.
Magnificent shot, that one. Sorry, 4. 4 in the end, but still. Terrific hit. It's a long boundary out there, and the fielder was inside, about 10 yards inside, went over him. 93 fours in the tournament so far, and counting.
It has been a command performance by the Crimsons batting lineup, and they finished it off in gallant fashion with that smack over deep extra cover by Yadav. Off his feet, sends the ball sailing over extra cover, 1 bounce into the fence. Crimsons winning by 5 wickets.
Excellent chase. Excellent chase. They had their moments, their nervous moments, if one may call it that, and they kind of held their nerve together, and Naveen Param, Rohan Rangaraj and Manoj Kumar Yadav coming through in the end with an unbeaten 37 of 22 balls, which was quite spectacular. James Cox, I thought, did very well. He was in business, and so was Anant Krishna, but the rest really left a lot to be desired.
That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you shortly with the presentation. Subs, it's been a great pleasure commentating with you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening and welcome to the presentation ceremony post-match. Joining us for the awards presentation is Mr. Subir Gatak, the Deputy President of Singapore Cricket Association, Mr. Saad Khan Janjua, CEO of Singapore Cricket Association, and also we have our Chairman of Selectors, Mr. Subin Sharoff. And today there were many outstanding performances from both the Crimsons and the Crescents, but for his 26 ball 42 and his 2 wickets in 4 overs for 27, the man of the match, Ananta Krishna. Manpreet would like to have a word with you. Good score on the board, but didn't go too well with the ball.
Well, I mean, opponent played well, but there were one or two overs would have been more good. Anyways, it was close game. We enjoyed a lot.
With nearly 160 on the board, do you think that was enough?
I think it was pretty much okay, but there was, as I told you, there was 1 or 2 overs would have been more good. So it was more close game, so it's fine, I think.
It was a fantastic comeback by both Ananta and young Ariman Uchil. They hit the ball very hard. You must be pleased having them in your side.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, Ananta and Ariman, they brought us back in the game, so they played a good game. Yeah.
Good luck for the rest of the games.
Thank you very much.
Like to speak to Carabo. Congratulations, making a habit of this.
Thank you very much, but sorry, the credit must go to the team. I think for us to fight back a couple of times, I think it was good spirit from the guys.
The youngsters seem to be really standing up in your team. Naveen, Rohan Rangaraj and Prashin Param. You must be very happy as the captain.
Yeah, it's very good to see guys standing up and wanting to be counted. I think in T20 cricket, 1-2 guys can take the game away. So if you can have a couple of guys on their game in the day, you can take them away. So yeah, long may it continue.
When you saw 160 on the board at any time, do you think it was too much or could be chased down?
Well, it's T20 cricket, anything can happen, but I mean, we've chased well so far in the tournament, so we always had the faith that we'll get there. That's what you have to maintain throughout the 20 overs.
Congratulations, good luck for the rest of the games.
Thank you.
There you have it, gentlemen, ladies, that's the end of the presentation ceremony. See you for the next game on Thursday. Thank you.
Singapore, let's play! Singapore, let's play! Singapore, let's play! Singapore, let's play!